Beautiful people. Beautiful people in the building, mulatto people. It's a pleasure to be here with you this evening. I know it's kind of late, but I am honored and blessed to be here with you guys this evening. So if you guys can hear me, just put a one in the chat. I appreciate it. Want to make sure my audio is good, everything's good. Gonna go right into this. So this article has been floating around for a while. I think this was, and it was also a podcast. I believe it was NPR that's hosted this podcast. This article is the title is The Genetic Advantages of Being Multiracial. Of course, with the title of this stream, I, kind of twisted things and said basically the genetic advantages of being a mulatto, right? Because this is the image they show. When you look at the screen here, you look at the picture here, it's basically looks like a mulatta girl, right? Obviously, you can tell phenotypically there's an African kind of genetic features, so to speak, phenotype. There's a mixture there, a fusion. For all intents and purposes, typically what they do is they use the images of mulatto people, right? But multiracial, which is extremely ambiguous, right? Could basically mean any variation. Going right into it, there's a 15-minute clip I want to play. Just want to get through this a little bit. So the main contributor of the findings here, gentleman actually has a book he published called "Breeding Between the Lines." His name is Alan Ziv. A decade ago, Alan Ziv sought out to prove that America's interracial boom, which I've talked about with J4 Conversations, the growth trajectory, which is criteria number three, would not only occur, it would produce a healthier population. So a decade ago, Alan Zig sought to prove that America's interracial boom would not only occur, it would produce a healthier population. It turns out he was right. Okay. Healthier population, now it's happening. The year was 1967 when the Supreme Court legalized interracial marriages. That's the Loving in Virginia, right? Since 1980, the number of interracial marriages has more than doubled, according to Pew Research, which, like I've mentioned, I've already covered this portion, the data with J4, with AJ, the moderator, a couple weeks ago with the criteria number three. And so, of course, this is part and parcel with that. But going into this, Ziv, author of Breeding Between the Lines, Why Interracial People Are Healthier and More Attractive. Now, um, the health component is basically based off the kind of diet, lifestyle, etc., right? But the more attractive, I agree. I just think generally you see how they use us all for advertisement. Obviously, my Discord, that's the whole purpose. I basically collect data um, with advertisement. That's kind of the main function. We'll also connect with you guys. But like I said, I believe we are definitely the most attractive people. Okay, I promote that here on the channel and the social media, etc. So mulatto people are definitely the most attractive. Everyone knows it, Everyone knows it. That's why our images are all over the place in media and Hollywood, etc. So yeah. So it says that 1 in 10 babies born today is of mixed race, but of course, there's no specificity to that. Now, my kind of thought process on this is they're basically saying black and anything else. So they're including, I guess, Blasians and mulatto and Afro Latinos. They're including all these other kind of subcategories or different demographics. Not very specific when you say mixed race, right? Or multiracial. It can literally mean anything. So I definitely I strive and want the specificity of what we're really talking about. But this is a liberal publication, so we're going to get a little bit more into this. And people with a diverse set of parents reap various physical benefits of their genetic assortment. The first thing that often pops in mind regarding mixed race children is skin color. But Ziv says that is just one of the many characteristics a blended gene pool affects. All of our bodies are supposed to be symmetrical, Ziv says. Some of us get closer to that perfect ideal than others, and it turns out that the better your genes are, the more symmetrical you are. And so symmetry is really a great indicator of genetic quality. Ziv says benefits of symmetry include being more attractive, fertile, intelligent, athletic, among others. Yeah. I'm always going to highlight the attractive part for sure. But the more, athletic is extremely important too. We have, Patrick Mahomes. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes, make it to the Super Bowl. It's funny how they kind of want to frame the discussion as if he is a just quote black person. They're not going to highlight the fact that he has a white mom that he's lived mainly with. Patrick Mahomes, and then all over the sports world, even in basketball, the Golden State Warriors, you got Steph Curry, etc. So the athletic component is there for sure. Gable Stevenson, who won gold. I can pull up a picture of him real quick in case you guys aren't aware of Gable Stevenson. He's a young man, and he won the Olympic gold medal in the last Olympics. And of course, Andre Ward. I'm pretty sure if people are familiar with Andre Ward, he's a boxing kind of legend, gold medalist, undefeated boxer. Here's Gable Stevenson. So he's in the realm of wrestling. And of course, I know of him because I follow combat sports. So I definitely look out for more of this. But he's a mulatto man, biracial man, right? So when we talk about the genetic advantages as far as the athletic realm, we have references for this. We literally have gold medal champions in boxing, wrestling, basketball, football. Like I said, the NFL currently with Patrick Mahomes. So across the board, it's not just the physical attractiveness component or intelligence per se. There's many variables that are included in this. Let me go back to the article. So, how are you guys doing this evening? First off, I guess I was a little rude. Let me get to your comments. What's going on? Telling Stewart. And of course, Magick Mulatta is in the house. Yeah, I've seen a mulatto baby born with an deformity or genetic defects. People don't talk about that though. Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Spartans! What is your profession?
So of course, Anthony likes that song as well. That's a breakdown. Bone Thugs and Mariah.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, yeah, continuing on with the article. So it says symmetry is definitely something that you want. The genetic diversity is how you get that, Ziv says. Diversifying gene pools, Ziv says, is important not just in humans, but in animals and plants as well. This is where the concept of hybrid vigor comes from. Of course, hybrid, has a lot of knowledge base on this topic. So, of course, he's going to cover it, of course, probably pretty soon in the future. But this article, I don't know the exact date when this was published. It wasn't too long ago. I know you guys are kind of familiar with it, but I want to talk about it. I don't know if I saw anybody have a stream on this per se. I've just kind of seen people like share the article. So I just thought, why don't I come up here and talk about this? Because this is the mixed race space, the mulatto space. This is our space here, especially on this channel. I don't care, whether your mom is black or your mom is white. This is a space for mulatto people, even multi-generational mulattoes. This is a mulatto space. So this is our space here, and we share information here. We have a community, and of course, it's small, but over time, it will build. It will become bigger. As I'm looking at the numbers, the growth trajectory, I mean, things are only going up. But I definitely want to keep a level of positivity and good spiritness with this stream, because I know there's other streams. Just a lot of people have been having streams today. I think Magic even kind of rescheduled her stream. A lot of people have been doing things today. Obviously Saturday, a lot of people have time off. Even for me, it's my day off today. Working tomorrow all day, but today I had the day off, so it was a good day. A lot of people have streams. Thought might as well come up here. I know last night I had a stream, a smoke stream. Like I said, I don't advocate for it. Typically want to do it. It's not why I came on YouTube, but sometimes you kind of got to let people know what time it is. And yeah. So for today, we're going to just finish this, get through this, and then take it from there. So if you cross two different strains of wheat, two different strains of cows, anything like that, you see a lot of virility, a lot of health, a lot of fast growth in their offspring, Ziv says. If you talk about that with farm animals, nobody bats an eye. If you talk about that with humans, people get very nervous. Ziv says he has riled up various groups. He's riled up various groups, particularly what he describes as the far left and far right. A few Air Talk callers also push back against some of Ziv's ideas. I have a quibble with a blanket statement diversity is great. Maury from Northridge tells Air Talk that's not true. Another caller raised the question of whether race is real, a question Ziv said is often raised from the far left. Race is not a social construct, but racism is. And the way we approach race, there's a ton of social baggage there. But race is real, Ziv says. Interesting, yeah. Very interesting. So we're going to get into this podcast clip here, of course, and I'm going to pause and add some commentary on it. KPCC. So the thing is with the kind of communication networks, when you see the K, that's an indicator that it is a Pacific Coast broadcast, right? For reference there.
LA Studios Imperfect Paradise is back.
If you guys can do me a favor and just hit the one if you can hear. He says it's been lit. You're talking about the of course say, yeah, let's keep it positive and good spirits. Yeah, because there's some other streams going on. That's kind of the reason why I'm doing this, to counteract the foolishness. You have other people who are kind of imposters, or they're mixed people, but they're pretending to be for mixed people, but they really just want the clicks and views and clout. So they have a majority kind of black audience base. When it's like, it's very disingenuous to brand your channel as being multiracial or for mixed people when it's literally just a black centered focused channel. But that's all you're from the hood, you're a country bumpkin right next to Walmart, and that's all it's just fine. But over here we're operating a little different. So you're saying, yeah, there's a lot of streams going on today. I wish we can interview a scientist that research mixed race people. Yeah, definitely this is a step in that direction. We're reviewing this gentleman, this Ziv, kind of unusual name, Alan Ziv. So definitely this is a step in that direction. Even Heather Gather, or excuse me, Sarah Gather, I talked about her a couple months ago. I'm writing down names. There's a lot of shit, man. We all have families. You have families, Magic. We all work. We have other obligations and commitments. But I'm writing down names. I'm looking at these articles and the people who have already kind of put in work, so to speak, the past couple decades with this stuff. And we got to start networking, collaborating with these people. We have to take it to the next level. Because I'm not going to be sitting here the next year going back and forth with a lot of these idiots on YouTube, like multiracial and the other clowns. I'm not going to go back and forth to these idiots for this whole entire year. But here and there, I guess, a little entertainment value, but we got to start being serious, right? And I know Magic, obviously you have children, people like you are very serious, especially even Flowers in the chat. She takes these things very seriously, right? She contacts me and she's no games, no drama. She's straight to the point, mulatto preservation. So we have people here who take these things seriously. And it's our job. We got to, do the work and connect with people. And like you said, connect with these scientists, etc. Okay. Like Jose say, let the clown. Well, Jose is kind of an enabler. Okay. He's a Latino interloper. He's not a mulatto person, but he's in the mulatto discussions. Like he said, he watched my stream yesterday. I mean, I'm happy he doesn't open his mouth about me because I have nothing to do with him. He's not mulatto. It's just not and the fact that he's in these discussions, it's the same reason why you have characters like Zacharias and all these other weirdos who are in these discussions. Like, they don't speak for us as a collective. We want regular, normal people who are family oriented, who actually want families and want a community. We want these people here to speak for us, to represent us. But there's a lot of weirdos who just, run up in here. Facts, let them be, and we're going to move forward, move up for sure. So getting into this, cool.
With its 4th season. And this time, you'll learn about how a famous yoga teacher got into right-wing conspiracy theories. Yoga's Queen of Conspiracy Theories, available on NPR One, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcasts.
The thing is,
you can tell me about.
For a disclaimer, NPR is extremely liberal publication. Probably one of the Oh, wait. There you go.
Great to have you with us this morning on air.
I had the wrong one. I apologize. Here we go. Got the right one. But yeah, NPR for public disclaimer. I think it's National NP. I don't know what the P Public Radio, National Public Radio. It's extremely left liberal publication. But obviously there's some useful information they present. It's our job, to basically analyze it and take the good and leave the bad. So yeah.
Air Talk, I'm Larry Mantle. Last year, a study published in the journal Nature got a lot of attention. It found that children whose parents have greater degrees of genetic difference are typically taller and perform better on cognitive tests. How might genetic variety benefit our species? That's the theme of an updated edition of Alon Ziv's book, Breeding Between the Lines: Why Interracial People Are Healthier and More Attractive. Alon, good to have you with us. Welcome.
Alon Zin. So let me pull up actually, because I am going to get a little bit into this. I haven't purchased a book. I will look into it and read into it, but just for the kind of reference, even using our image. I'm telling you guys, this is a Caucasian man, Alon Zin, white man. Like I'm telling you, even with the thumbnail you see with the article, etc. They're using our image. They're using images of mulatto people, but then it's kind of a one size fits all kind of you know, what you call hosh posh, etc. For multiracial or mixed race, it's extremely broad and ambiguous. It doesn't get specifically to the point. So here's Alon Zin, what he looks like, right? You're going to hear him in this interview. And so we could just get into him, I guess, briefly before we get into his actual interview. I think that's good. Leave a framework for the discussion. Alan Zinn has been writing and lecturing on the biology of interracial people for over 10 years. He's appeared on the BBC London Evening News, the KTLA Morning News, Air America, BBC Radio, and local radio across the United States. He has spoken on the science of interracial mixing for the Biracial Family Network. Never heard of that. Have you guys ever heard of that? The Biracial Family Network? Very interesting. The HAPA Issues Forum, very interesting. So you see how they have already, have a professional establishment, so to speak. They have an organized effort. HAPA Issues Forum. Where's the Mulatto Issues Forum? It's my question to you guys. We're here now. We're talking now. We're having these discussions. But as you can see, there's other people who are taking things seriously. Well, you have the multi-facial movement going over there talking crap about Al and Bluish and all these other random people online. These other people, they're taking things seriously. I mean, I'm just letting it out. I'm just putting it out there, guys. There's people who take this seriously, people who have an education, who go to school. They're looking at, hey, let's think about our future. And you have random hood rat baby mamas and knuckleheads who are just making a mockery out of all of us. So HAPA Issues Forum, the Multicultural Resource Center at Penn State, and other organizations and colleges across the country. He was awarded the Certificate of Distinction in Teaching in Biology from UCLA. He lives in Los Angeles, and no, he is not interracial. That right there is very weird. Interracial, so essentially mixed is what they're saying. My parents, my white mom, black father, they were in an interracial relationship. And the product of that is me, a mulatto male. But the way the kind of interracial is used, it's when two races come together. That's interracial. But he is not interracial. I'm not interracial either. I'm a mulatto. You can use broad terms like mixed race or biracial. That's fine, but specifics mulatto. But yeah, he's definitely a Caucasian gentleman. Just wanted a way to lay the framework for that. Alan Ziv. So we're gonna get hearing his he published this book, Why Interracial People Are Healthier and More Attractive, Breeding Between the Lines. So we are going to get into his interview here.
greater genetic diversity creates more accomplished or better looking people. What was the range of that response?
Huge range. I've definitely gotten a lot of positive responses. People who find the science interesting, who think that it's more relevant today than ever before. Certainly, I've gotten negative responses too. It turns out there are a lot of white supremacists on the internet, and I think they've all emailed me at this point, and they're very unhappy with the book. They have accused me of being part of a Jewish conspiracy to destroy the white race. And it turns out that they're very active in sort of these dark corners of the internet.
That's very interesting, his assertion, the whole conspiracy theory, because we get it from both sides. So obviously there's a fart fetishist person on YouTube, who kind of attacks hybrid vigor. And she's, basically deep into the conspiracy theories and stuff. So you get it from the black nationalists, the black identity extremists, and then also on the other end, the white nationalists. You get it from them. So we get, people throwing conspiracies at us all over the damn place. And like, I think it was DC or someone stated before, basically how I saw it as well. There was a public video of Dr. Umar basically saying we need to be more welcoming to the mulatto people, because if we can't get them, the racists are going to get them. So it's like usury, essentially. These two groups, right? They're figuring out which one they want to use us for to do their bidding, right? But I see it more with the black nationalist side, with the pro-wax. I see it more with them. They're trying to figure out how to use us. I even saw it. I can go as far as to say I saw a comment left on I think it was Gigi's one of her posts earlier today, where some dude was basically like, "Come back." He basically said, you golden people have just as much drama in fighting as the blacks do. Come back to the blacks." I saw that shit. I was like, that is typical pro-whack language. Like, we need to go back to the community to serve them. See, that's what it is. They feel like they got to get us under their control, get us under their influence. Because if we're not serving them, we're going to be serving someone else, and it's going to be to their detriment. That's the conspiracies they push. My whole thing is, look, we have personal autonomy. We are sovereign. We exist. We have a God-given right to have our own voice, our own space, to be our own people. We're not going to serve anyone else's agendas. We have our own mulatto agenda. So continuing on with that.
Corners of the internet. What's interesting is that I've gotten, negative responses from the far right. Like I said, I've also gotten some pushback from the far left. And anytime you talk about science and race, people get very nervous. It's science and race have a very ugly history. In the past, science has been used to justify racism, justify colonialism, things like that. And so I think it's understandable that people get nervous. But at the same time, we can't stick our heads in the sand. We need to approach this like any other scientific topic responsibly.
It's funny. Years ago on the show, before I was even in an intermarriage, I had said, and sort of half seriously, that we should encourage people to date across racial and ethnic lines. We should encourage people to feel comfortable doing it. Well, we didn't have any public service campaigns for that. Clearly didn't need it, because intermarriage and mixed race, mixed ethnicity kids have exploded. We've got them all over.
Exactly, and that's sort of why I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this interview podcast was conducted not too long ago, like months ago. I don't really, it doesn't show the exact date. I don't have the exact date. I can't see a date anywhere on this page, but I know it was a couple months ago. Guest author, Barricade Books Inc. 2026, but that's not when this publication was or this particular interview was published. It doesn't have a date anywhere, but this is new. So obviously, like he's saying, like I'm talking to J4 or AJ, the moderator on J4 Conversations, basically like, look, we're all over the damn place. We're all over the place. I go to travel these major cities in America. We're here. Like I can go to any, popular common business, whether it's a fast food establishment, retail establishment, etc., Walmart or something like that. I'll find mixed race people, mulatto people, even the children, the babies with their interracial couple parents, etc., or adults. And that's most of your major cities: Los Angeles, in Las Vegas, San Francisco, New York, DC, all over the place in the country. So the numbers are rapidly growing. And these two gentlemen have, publicly acknowledged that as well. So let me continue on.
Why I'm here.
Yeah.
When the book first came out 10 years ago, and I predicted that we were on the cusp of a mixed race explosion, I just thought all of the demographic factors were aligned, and it was finally gonna be a huge surge in the interracial population, and that has definitely come to pass, which is why I wrote the second edition. And the numbers are just staggering. 1 in 10 babies born today is of mixed race or ethnicity. In 1970, that was 1%. So it's a
You guys hear that? Today, 1 in 10 babies are born, he said, of mixed race ethnicity. When I think is when they say mixed race, it's too ambiguous, right? I like to be specific. Okay, are we talking about mulattoes, black, white, or mixed race? Are they talking about Caucasian Latino or Asian Latino or Asian Caucasian, which there's a lot. But I personally believe, I don't have the numbers to provide currently at the moment, but there's more mulatto people than there are what you call Hapa. But obviously, you can see how organized the Hapa people are. As I've shown you, let me share again. They have an entire forum, Hapa Issues Forum. Um, where the hell is the mulatto issues forum? A lot of these mulattoes, like multi-facial movement, they just want to hang around in the hood with Pookie and be baby mamas and act stupid. So you have Hapa Issues Forum. I don't see nowhere anywhere here where there's a specific organized forum for us mulatto people. We just get thrown into the black category where we can just serve as mules for the community. And of course, we get nothing in return except fake acceptance, right? Um, kind of went on a tangent there. What else was I going to say about that? Yeah, so the 1 in 10 today are interracial, which is, like I said, ambiguous, but the numbers are growing. Versus, I talked to J4 a couple weeks ago. He said 1970 in his era. That's his generation. AJ, the moderator from J4 Conversations. Basically, there was like 1%, which would be black, white, mulatto, 1%. And today it's like 1 in 10. I mean, it's just the numbers are only growing. So we definitely have to get on this now. We got to do the research now. We got to analyze this stuff now and start to build for the future. We need to have something for these younger children, these younger people to walk into. We can't just let them be out there lost in the sauce. They don't know what the hell's going on. They need to know there's a place for them. There's a safe space for them. They don't have to fight alone, because you're going to have to fight. Okay, there is a race. A race is a competition. We're in a capitalist society. It's an extremely competitive society. They're going to have to compete, but we need to equip them with something where they can compete with. We don't want them just being servants to all these other groups, right? I don't.
percent. So it's a tenfold increase in only 40 years, and that's especially true in big cities, and it's especially true in the West. The West of the United States is really the epicenter of the mixed race boom.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in my son's school, I think a third to half the kids in his
And I can attest to that because I'm from the West, right? So I'm from West Coast, California, Southern California. But, coming into this kind of mulatto identity is fairly new for me. Like I said, I had my epiphany moment. I gave in my 2 weeks notice to the pro wax back in like 2021 was when I officially handed in the papers. But my epiphany moment happened in 2019. Um, and I'm from California. So what was I saying? Basically, yeah, at that time, like even before then, I didn't really look at the distinction between like mulatto people or mixed race people. I kind of just thought, well, we're all just going to be black and just be accepted as black and all this stuff. I didn't realize that, well, there's actually a split that's happening right before our eyes. That's been happening for the past decade, but that split is becoming more and more like actualized today now. So, and we have to prepare for that. We're not going to just sit there and just, be a poor victim and, it's not fair. People don't like me. We got to plan and prepare. And then not even for us, like I'm saying, I have a good life. I'm chilling right now, man. You know, everything's good for me. Today's my only day off for the day. I had a good workout talking to you, beautiful people. I'm going to wake up early, go to work, working all day tomorrow. I'm chilling. Everything's good with me. I got everything I want. Um, these younger people, We can't let them be out there lost in the sauce. They need to be equipped with this information. They need to have elders, older people who will look out for them and advocate for them. And it starts with, equipping ourselves with this information. This is going to be extremely helpful moving forward. And we could take the information from these scientists, from these authors, these other people who are publishing and researching and gathering the data for us. Let's analyze it, sort it out, and see what works for us.
Kids in his grade level are mixed. I mean, it's so common here in Southern California. The argument that I had made years ago for this
Right.
had
And
nothing
he's
to
in
do with
Southern,
genetics. It
I
just
wanted to say that too. Yeah, he's in Southern California too. Yeah, like I said, prior to 2019, I didn't really look at the distinction, but when I in San Diego, I was like, man, it opened up my eyes because there's a lot of mixed mulatto people in San Diego, even in LA, and in Orange County as well. But my whole viewpoint and worldview and the way I saw things was completely different than what it is now. Completely different. I'm able to look at these subtle nuances and be like, oh yeah, it's a mulatto person or Afro Latino, etc. Um, yeah, but in California, man, it's crazy. There's a lot of us out there, a lot of us out there, but we definitely do get drowned out in a lot of ways because the reason why they have these broad terms they call the people of color. It's like, well, I'm a person of color, and there's a lot of mulattoes who play around with that. I'm a person of color. I'm a BIPOC, a black indigenous person of color, and they play around with that, and they essentially get absorbed by the larger monoracial groups like the Latino groups. The Latino population, they're the majority in California, but they also get to have this minority status, right? Especially in California, where I'm from. So they get to have this minority majority status, and they also get to have this people of color status as well. So a lot of these mulattoes, they get absorbed into that. Even, I mean, I can just personally tell you with my family, my siblings, I should say, they decided to go that route and essentially be absorbed by the Latino population, which a lot of people, it happens to a lot of people, you know. But for me, like I said, I feel like mulatto women are the most beautiful women. I'd like to preserve who I am, what I've come to realize. I'd like to preserve this and not just give it up. But everyone, different path that the people have. So Magic here says Hapa Issues Forum was founded in 1992. Imagine if someone was building and gathering resources for us mulattoes in the 90s. The thing is, like the Maria Root, I believe her name is, she established the Mixed Heritage Bill of Rights or something of that sort, Mixed Race Bill of Rights. She's a Filipino woman. And there's a lot of these mulatto people. I heard it, they're offended by the term mulatto back in the 90s and even the early 2000s, whatever. They're offended. I'm like they just want to be with all these other groups. They don't want to preserve who they are. You're very unique and specific. You're a black, white, mixed race, biracial person, especially in the United States of America, where the kind of racial dichotomy, the history of these groups, of the servant and the kind of master class, etc. And you're kind of caught in the middle. So there's also historical relevance with that. We're very unique. Our experiences are unique. We're not like everyone else, these other groups. But there are people who want to push us into these other groups to essentially erase us and act like we don't exist, which is further, nothing further from the truth. Shout out to Flowers. Flowers is a strong advocate, looking at the history, looking at our presence, and knowing that, look, we've always been here, even before this country, America, was a nation established. We've always been here, but there's so many attempts legislatively, etc., for them to try to erase us. But yeah, the Hapa Issues Forum is there. I've noticed that before as well. When they talk about these mixed race people, etc., and interracial and biracial, they're going to be talking about them. Those are the people who are going to be way more organized than a lot of these mulattoes. I'm looking around. You look at these mulattoes like multifacial movement, they're sitting around, fucking around, acting dumb, being baby mamas, and no, they're gonna fail. They're gonna fail. They're gonna be subordinates under these other groups. In the Hapa Issues Forum, these Hapa people, they're taking things seriously. They're well equipped and they're ready to compete. They're gonna compete. So I'm from Tacoma, a lot of mulattoes. Yeah. I've been up there. It's a beautiful area. I like Tacoma, Washington. I like Washington State and Oregon. When I was over there in the Pacific Coast, I like to drive up there. Um, yeah, it's a nice area. Yeah, I kind of imagine there's actually quite a few, mulatto people for sure. I knew a girl out in Spokane, Washington, but yeah, Tacoma for sure. It's a nice area. Um, yeah, right on, guys.
genetics. It just, I thought that interracial understanding and that, the more families are mixed, like in my family, I've African Americans and Latinos and Muslims, Christians, and that the
You hear
more you
that?
have that, the more it fosters.
You guys hear that? He said African Americans, Latinos, and then he said Muslim Christian. So it's kind of a liberal kind of hodgepodge. Yeah, they go into the race, but then they go into Latino is like an ethnic culture because they're a mixture of different like racial groups, right? Caucasian, indigenous, and African. But the African percentile is smaller and more minute. Most of them are mestizos, would be European and indigenous. But they threw in right there. This gentleman who's the host was talking about Muslim, and then he said Christian. So they're throwing in all these like that's theology, right? Christianity is a theology. That is a philosophy. That's a belief system, how you live in life. That's not your race. That's not tied to your race. Every racial group on the planet, a lot of these people practice Christianity, you know? Same thing with Islam. Islam is a theology, philosophy. It's not your racial group, right? But you see kind of how some of these people, they kind of misconstrue things. They kind of mix them together as if they're the same, which is not the case. Just to pay attention to that because, yeah, it's tricky.
Fosters intergroup understanding. But the genetic argument, what do studies show about this?
Well, there are a lot of really interesting studies. You mentioned the Nature study. There's also been recent research at UCLA and at Penn State that have looked at people who are of mixed race.
Now, this gentleman who's speaking right now, this is Alan Ziv. Now, he was awarded at those universities. He talked about Penn State and he said UCLA. Let me direct you to this page here because he was given an award, some accolades through those institutions, right? He just quoted them, UCLA and Penn State. And he says, Multicultural Resource Center at Penn State. He has spoken on the sciences of interracial mixing and biracial family network. I've never heard of the biracial family network. Very interesting. Colleges and other organizations and colleges across the country. He was awarded the Certificate of Distinction in Teaching in Biology at UCLA. Okay, and at Penn State here. So those are the two schools that kind of stuck out that he just mentioned. So I'm going to go back to the podcast to let him finish speaking, but I wanted to lay that out there, even for myself when I go back and listen to this, see what this guy is talking about. Yeah, Penn State and UCLA, which are prestigious universities. I believe they're public institutions. UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, I believe that's a public institution. Penn State, it's a state school, so it's a public institution. But they're definitely prestigious in America.
Racial ancestry versus people who are, of a single race. And the results are really dramatic. We're talking about, increased attractiveness in the biracial group, increased height, as you mentioned.
Now, he talks about increased attractiveness, increased height. Now, like I said, I agree. The attractive, I highlight that because I agree. With mulatto women, obviously, to me, are going to be the most attractive. That's my personal preference. But also, it's funny if I look at like Hapa females, right? So the Asian and Caucasian mixture, white and Asian mixture, those women, to me, I typically look at them as being high on the totem pole as far as attractiveness. I just think it's a great blend. Just publicly saying that, agreeing with this gentleman as far as the attractiveness component. But yeah.
As you mentioned, increased athletic ability, health, fertility, really just across the board, there are a lot of advantages to genetic diversity. And it shouldn't surprise us because we know that a lack of genetic diversity is a really bad thing. And that's why, we have such a visceral response to inbreeding. We know that inbreeding is bad. It produces children that have genetic disorders, unattractive, unhealthy, short lifespans. And so what reading between the lines is talking about is just the exact opposite of that. More genetic diversity helps your body.
I wondered, though, if there's another factor. As I was looking at this University of Edinburgh study that I cited to open the segment, because could it be that people...
University of Edinburgh study. So Edinburgh, that's Scotland. So University of Edinburgh, which is Edinburgh is Scotland, for those of you who are not aware.
Could it be that people who are more apt to outmarry tend to be a bit less conforming, or are in more open families, that there are a number of factors that predispose them
I
to
agree. Just to kind of reiterate what Magic saying, obviously I'm straight. I agree. When I talk about hoppas, I look at the women, I agree. I mean, they're pretty much like up there as far as the attractiveness when I look at women. Obviously, I like mulatto women, but hoppas are like up there. Like, yeah, just wanted to let that be known.
them to have a genetic advantage, as opposed to it being the outbreeding or outmarriage itself that causes this gain?
That's a great question, and I think future studies should definitely look at the parents of the biracial individuals. Are they of greater attractiveness, or are they...
The parents of the biracial children, if they greater attractiveness, I say yes. I look at my mom and my dad. I've always thanked my mom too, saying, thank you. I appreciate you, being a, genetic specimen, being a beautiful woman, because that has been passed down to me. I have her genes, right? It's very funny, man. It's hilarious because, you know, um, I worked at the Segerstrom Center for the Performing Arts. I was actually a volunteer usher and I wasn't getting paid. I just, went there. This is a couple years ago, before COVID, before the bug virus. I was volunteering there because I wanted access to the arts, to the, classical music, mainly to learn more about classical music, to get up close and personal. But also they had musicals there. So I saw a ton of Broadway musicals and classical art, etc. I was immersed in that culture there, which is like high society European culture, etc. And there was a lady there, Caucasian lady, who I worked with. She was an usher as well, and she looked at me, and we were just talking, chit chatting, whatever. It's funny because she looked at me and was basically like, "I know your mom is pretty." And I kind of laughed and smirked, and I was like, "Why?" Because I got her looks too, or what? It's funny. She was the first person that's ever said that to me. You know, she looked at me and she's like, "I know your mom is pretty. I know your mom looks good." It's like, how the hell do you know? And I told her basically, oh, she's a brunette just like you, because she was a brunette Caucasian woman. It was just funny though. I don't know. I wanted to tell that story. She basically looked at me, was like, "I know your mom is pretty." Yeah, my mom is very pretty. So I definitely share those traits. Um, yeah, Holly Berry is very pretty, definitely. And of course, even here is Zendaya. It's just gorgeous. Her facial symmetry is like pristine. It's superb, I'd say. Um, Zendaya for sure. Definitely, yeah, I'm proud of my Italian Euro ancestry for sure. Definitely hold on to that. Be proud of that. Embrace yourself fully, because I know a lot of the you'll probably make a lot of the black people uncomfortable, you know, and some of those circles, But yeah, a Jamaican woman said that to me too. Yeah. Yeah, I know definitely. If you're around a lot of these pro-black circles and you start to embrace, yourself fully, or European side, oh, you got privilege, you can't do that. You're gonna make me feel insecure. I need to get some mulatto soap to make myself lighter skinned, because they do have this stuff on the market, guys. They got mulatto soap on the market. And I'm just saying. I mean, if you want, I can just, briefly to segue, because even Flowers told me about that. I can briefly show you guys a quick minute before I go back into it, man. This is hilarious. I remember Flowers was, because Flowers, man, I mean, she's a blessing, man. She's extremely pro mulatto, and there's so much useful information she shares. How to make mulatto whitening black soap. You see that shit? They got something on the market called Mulatto soap.
Like a
You see that thumbnail right here? How to make mulatto whitening black soap. And look at this slice of heaven skincare. Looks like a monoracial woman who's bleached her skin to high heaven. Black soap. Crazy. Yeah. Let me just.
Want to buy any of my handmade products from
Okay. Yeah. So this is making soap. It's fucking skin bleaching soap, man. This is her right here. Look at this shit. Look at her. You can tell, like, I don't know, makeup and a ton of makeup, or they call cake up or fake up, whatever. Her face is covered with, like, makeup and stuff, but, looks like an ambiguous woman, but she's all light and bright. Gonna get the mulatto soap to make yourself look light skinned like a mulatto. Man, you guys can't make this shit up, man. But yeah, Flowers brought that to my attention, so I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, they got something on the market. They literally, oh, you want the link to that? Um, yeah, let me go back and get that link. They actually have something on the market called Mulatto soap, where they're literally gonna bleach their skin, use this cake soap to look like us, but then at the same time cry and complain and be like, oh, you weak, you light skin and weak, you just average. But yet, oh, the link to the panel. Um, yeah, I'll drop the link. I'm gonna finish this real quick, and I'll drop the link. You want to hop up on there?
different strains of cows, anything like that.
You guys hear that?
You see a lot of
He said outbreeding and hybrid vigor. Obviously, there's a intellectual in this space who you guys should be happy or privileged, etc., to have people with a knowledge base who's sharing information to learn from. You have a lot of people here who have a huge ego, or I don't know what the hell. A lot of these people, this whole mixed race discussion is fairly new to me, to be honest. I've always known I've been mixed, but I've kind of went about things on my own. I didn't realize there's other people I can connect with and talk to and kind of share information till now or the past several months. But even then, it's sorting out through all the shit and the bullshit. It's been kind of a challenge. And the trolls, like the future is golden, just random faceless trolls on the internet. But he talked about hybrid vigor, which is an interesting concept. If you guys aren't acquainted or familiar with it, obviously there's a guy in this space, one of my someone I collaborate with the mulatto sphere, hybrid vigor. His name is branded off this concept. And of course, this is a subject he wants to talk about. He's going to talk about it um, because this is a very interesting, relevant subject.
still confident that it's the genetic diversity that we're seeing, and that's something that we see, across the board in the animal kingdom. Outbreeding and hybrid vigor are terms that are often used in agriculture. And if you cross two different strains of wheat, two different strains of cows, anything like that, you see a lot of virility, a lot of health, a lot of fast growth in their offspring. And if you talk about that with farm animals, nobody bats an eye. You talk about it with humans, people get very nervous.
Well, and particularly what you're essentially, I think the extension of this.
Yeah, the reason why you talk about that with farm animals, no one cares, or wheat or products, agriculture, no one cares. With humans, people get nervous because you're competing. You're competing for food and resources, etc. We're in competitive society, and a lot of the people who don't want to compete, they're at the bottom. The highly competitive people are at the top. You got to compete. You have to compete. It's a highly competitive society. You have to compete.
The extension of this would be that people who, for example, are more in the middle on.
Yeah, so you bring up a good point here. You talk about the tired of the faceless trolls. So you have the future is golden. The Future is Golden is a radical feminist, okay, involved in subversion. She's all over the place. You don't know what the hell she's doing, what's her agenda, she's all over the place. Basically, it's for a kind of matriarchy, which is fine. If you think women should lead, go do your thing. But why are you coming, you like trying to bump heads with the men? I'm up here. Everyone knows what I look like, what I sound like. I'm very public. She just needs to stay in her lane, to be honest with you. The Future is Golden. She's one of the faceless trolls. I mean, we know what Gigi and Multi look like, obviously, but they're not smart either. Um, but yeah, a lot of characters online. That's this whole YouTube thing, man. A lot of characters online. Nobody, a lot of fucking characters, man. So yeah, for sure, I have more respect for people who cam up, show their face, let the world know what's cracking. And you have these people. The thing is, with The Future is Golden, what really irritates me about her is she has the balls, the audacity to say she's the boss. And she was trying to tell Flowers, one of the elders here that respects me in this space, who's a moderator here. She was trying to tell Flowers, basically to get the men in check. You need to get the men in check. I'm like, what? You know, it's yeah, it's sad. Zendaya literally trends just for showing her face. Yeah, she's fucking gorgeous. Her face is superb. They were mad when she chose Tom Holland, calling her anti-mix slurs. They were mad when she chose Tom Holland, calling her anti-interesting. Oh wait, excuse me, not Zendaya, not Zendaya. I apologize. Zendaya is a good-looking woman. She's not the superb. I'm thinking of Zoe Kravitz. I apologize. So Zendaya is good. She's an attractive woman, but I get the people kind of, celebrity people, actresses. I get them kind of mixed up sometimes. Yeah, Zendaya is pretty popular, but when I'm thinking about the superb facial symmetry of like a mulatto woman, I'm thinking about Zoe Kravitz. Zoe Kravitz. So I'm thinking about Alicia Keys. Yeah, they're all good. Yeah, but Zendaya, yeah, they're hating on her because she's with the white man. There's a video I wanted to review from some pro whack. I don't know if he's gonna copyright strike me or whatever. I messaged him, was like, hey, I'd like to do a review of this, because I don't agree with his points. He's basically typical pro whack, trying to tell us, come back. You're gonna have to just put up with our black bullshit. Don't try to just be mixed and hang out with the whites and hang out with whatever. You got to you got to be in a community with the crabs in a bucket. So I wanted to kind of review that video he made of Zendaya. Zendaya. I don't know why I got that mixed up with the lady Zoe Kravitz. How the hell did I get that mixed up? See, I'm not really in the loop with a lot of the celebrity stuff. Let me pull up this real quick of this Zoe Kravitz right here. Yeah, but I know exactly what you're saying as far as the hate she's getting. Zendaya. Uh, oh yeah, when I look at her, like her facial symmetry, her cheekbones, her forehead, I mean, she is superb. Even I had a short today with Lenny Kravitz, and I shared a picture. I think it was this image or a different image, whatever I shared with Lenny Kravitz and his daughter Zoe. I mean, yeah, she's definitely won the genetic lottery in the looks department, the facial symmetry. Yeah, she won the genetic lottery. She lucked out. Yeah, the forehead, the cheekbones, etc. It's funny, man. I shared a picture of her on like my Facebook, and some black dude, he's a friend of mine, whatever. I'm very cordial. Like I said, I probably get along with black men more than a lot of people in the mixed race spaces. Well, I know Anthony does as well. We both have black fathers, so we're definitely more. There's a lot more camaraderie with us with black men, but this one dude was basically like, oh no, her eye is like higher than the other eye, was talking foolish about her. I was like, get out of here. I posted a picture of Lizzo. I was like, here, this is your queen. This is something more of your taste and flavor. So get the fuck out of here, man. When I look at Zoe Kravitz, I'm like, psh, man, her facial symmetry is superb. That's the way I kind of put it. But yeah, let me continue on with this. And then I'm going to drop the link for you guys, for Anthony or whoever else wants to hop up. I think, yeah, let me see.
In the middle on skin color would be advantaged. I mean, if this the art, right, because they would be an example of a more mixed group.
Yeah, it's true. When I was on KTLA, they referred to this as the beige generation, and certainly, I think skin color is a factor, but really, it's only one. And one of the big factors that I talk about in the book is symmetry. And all of our bodies are supposed to be symmetrical. You don't have a separate set of genes for your left hand and your right hand. It's the same genes, so your hands should be identical mirror images. But some of us get closer to that perfect ideal than others. And it turns out the better your genes are, the more symmetrical you are. And so symmetry is really a great indicator of genetic quality. And that's what we've seen with these biracial individuals is both the UCLA study and the Penn State study found that biracial people were significantly more symmetrical.
So you guys hear that, right? This gentleman, Alan Ziv, is talking about symmetry, symmetrical, and that's exactly what I stated. Let me share again with the lady here, gorgeous lady, Zoe Kravitz. And I highlighted that in one of my Facebook posts. It was basically like, I'm looking at her face, like her symmetry is superb. She's got short hair here. I like but even, yeah, her cheekbones and everything, like her forehead, her symmetry is superb. That's the way I describe it. But it's funny, I had some black dude. He's cool, whatever. But he was basically trying to. The reason why I think he was hating because I highlighted the fact that she's mulatto, right? He's like, oh no, she's gotta be a black queen. She gotta be under my wing. But I was like, well, she's different. She's actually half. She has European genetics. She's a mulatto woman. Um, but the dude was basically trying to say that one of her eyes was higher than the other. I was like, get out of here, man. Lizzo would be a better fit for you. That's a black queen that you like, Lizzo. But this is like right in my ballpark. And for me, like I'm saying, I agree with the gentleman, Alan Ziv. It's the symmetry. Now, in this case, would be the face. Facial symmetry is completely superb, right? For me, for my taste, what I like. Yeah. But I just wanted to highlight that because, you know, yeah, it's funny, Lizzo, kind of to throw shade at him. And he shut up after that. He kind of laughed, was like, yeah, right. Because I don't know, man, like, how does Lizzo have the microphone? And if you tell her, Lizzo, go sit down somewhere and be quiet, like, you're fat phobic. Like, how does a woman, even like Meg the Stallion, who's ratchet and who acting goofy, how does she have the mic? Because I don't know, when I was a child or growing up in the 90s, I should say, like, I don't know, you just had classier women. Like Brandy, if you guys remember Brandy, I want to be down, Brandy. She's very classy. Her music was classy. She wasn't all ratchet and all this stuff. And and even like TLC was a little edgy, I guess. Left Eye was kind of the bad girl of the group, TLC. But yeah, now it's crazy, man. You got people like Meg the Stallion and Lizzo and just these weirdos, man, who are trying to represent the culture. And it's like, fuck that. Like if that was me, if I was in that demographic, you know, she's a multi-generational mulatto, most beautiful parents in the world. Yeah, I mean, they're both good-looking people. Lenny Kravitz obviously is a vegetarian. He's in extremely good shape. And then Lisa Bonet, I think older people like her a lot. She's pretty, Lisa Bonet, but I think people older than me are more attracted to her. I'm looking at Zoe, like shit, top notch. But um, yeah, let me continue on. Yeah, and the symmetrical, like I said, I kind of highlighted and pointed out the facial symmetry per se. And I gave you guys firsthand knowledge of some dude I posted on my Facebook, like, look at her face. It's superb. And the dude was like, no, no, she got one eye higher than the other. It's like, well, okay, well then go talk to Lizzo then. Have fun. Yeah, and I see a comment here from DC. Aisha Curry has excellent facial symmetry. Aisha Curry, very puffy cheeks. Let me see if I could pull something up, maybe. I mean, I'd say Zoe Kravitz is prettier than her in her facial symmetry. I'd say for me, that's a straight man. As a straight man, my perspective. But Aisha Curry obviously is very pretty. Her facial symmetry is very nice as well. But I'd still say Zoe Kravitz is prettier as far as her face. But I like her. Yeah, she's got puffy cheeks, very healthy. You can obviously tell. Um, yeah, she's very pretty, Aisha Curry. But me personally, I think Zoe Kravitz would win in the beauty contest. I don't know. That's just me personally. But continuing on with the article.
More
Yeah, and of course he highlights obviously the athleticism, like I already went into Gable Stevenson with the gold medal for wrestling, Andre Ward, boxing world champion. We have MMA fighters who are, world champions. Patrick Mahomes, who's going to be in the Super Bowl, potentially winning, be world champion essentially. Football, Steph Curry, we just showed a picture of him, world champion for basketball. Yeah, so athletic, and those are the men. So, but on the women, it's the same thing. We have Amanda Nunes, who is a Brazilian mulatta woman. I don't know if you guys are acquainted with the sport of mixed martial arts, but I can share a picture of Amanda Nunes. Would fall under that as well. It's a mulatta from Brazil. And of course, she has genetic advantages. I mean, she's a world champion. And you have a lot of other mulatta women who compete in the sport of kickboxing or mixed martial arts. Obviously she's alternative lifestyle. Okay, that's her personal thing. But I'm saying as an athlete, as a competitor, she's the best. She's the best as far as a cage fighter. She's definitely the best. So I give her all her respect. I don't care what she does in her bedroom. That's her business. But she is mulatta from Brazil. And so when you talk about the advantages athletically, we can see that across gender lines, not only with the men, like I mentioned, Gable Stevenson, Patrick Mahomes, Steph Curry, but also with the women. Then this is cage fighting. She's a champion. Now, I like her a lot. Valentina Shevchenko, I like her a lot. She's probably my favorite fighter right now. But that's besides the point. Amanda Nunes, and then there's other fighters as well. I know Denise Kielholtz. Um, she was a kickboxing champion. Let me see if I can actually pull up a picture of her real quick. Denise Kielholtz. Yeah, I found it. Okay, cool. She's extremely beautiful. And she's another woman, her facial symmetry is on par with Zoe Kravitz. I'd say it's probably a tie between Zoe Kravitz and this woman here, Denise Kielholtz. She's a mulatta. She's from the Netherlands, so she's a Dutch woman. Mulatta. Her facial symmetry is superb. And the athletic capability. Okay. So we talk about the facial symmetry and the athletic capability. She's a championship boxer or kickboxer. It has here, she has a belt, extremely accomplished. It's funny, she actually trained Andrew Tate, just on a side note. She was actually Andrew Tate's kind of trainer at one point. Um, Denise Kielholtz. I mean, she's fucking gorgeous, and she's just the high level, one of the best in the business as far as cage fighting. Her last bout didn't go her way. This was a few months ago in Bellator. She barely lost by decision, but I mean, she's gorgeous, and her husband is also a mulatto man as well, from the Netherlands. She's from the Netherlands, so she has the face, the the facial symmetry. She has that component and the athletic capability. She has that as well. So she's the full package. And like I said, I'd put her as far as the looks department on par, the same level as Zoe Kravitz, just the facial symmetry. She's extremely gorgeous. And this is a person who's getting punched in the face, throwing kicks, and that's her husband, mulatto dude. But yeah, so she's definitely the full package, right? Definitely someone we should promote and highlight as being a good representative for us. So let me see if I can find that clip with Tate, because she actually was a trainer, probably a couple at one point of Andrew Tate. Yeah, let me share that right here. Yeah, I found the clip. Here we go.
I was his coach, like, but I'm talking about. Well, Andrew Tate, I was his coach, like, but I'm talking about 12 years ago.
And this is a recent interview as well. This is a recent interview, so she's saying like 12 years ago she was coaching him. Um, but they're both the same age. We're all the same age. I'm in my early 30s. She's probably like 35. I think Andrew Tate's like 35. So we're all in the same age. So she's 12 years ago. She's talking about, you know, early 20s, etc. Right?
both were on a reality show. I knew him as a person at that time, as a good person, a real fighter, and he respected me as his team mate and team coach. So yeah, for me, Andrew was just a great fighter and great person.
Yeah, so she's being very respectful of Andrew Tate, obviously, because there's so much hate on that dude right now. So she's basically saying, you know, he's been nice to me, etc. There's a video I wanted to see. Yeah, let me share this one, because this one's where she's like preparing him for his fight, encouraging him before battle. Um, oh, let me see. I see a comment here. Amanda Nunes is a good fighter. I remember when she smashed Ronda. Yeah, she decimated Ronda, right? All punches. Yeah, she just annihilated her. Kevin Levron, he's mulatto and a famous bodybuilder. Yeah, for sure. So let me share this clip real quick before I go back and finish the article. And then, of course, I'll drop the link if any of you guys want to participate. So this right here.
Andrew Tate, I call him Superman because he's a great guy. His punches are so hard and so fast for his weight. This is gonna be his 17 KO. You can do this. You can win this. It's 16 KO. Now who is this guy from Germany? You're much stronger, Andrew. I know this. No one can stop you now. And yeah, I call him Superman, and he's really Superman.
I mean, you guys see her facial symmetry? Isn't she gorgeous? Like, look at her, man.
Andrew Tate,
Like, the symmetry is just superb. Her cheekbones, her forehead, everything. But yeah,
call him Superman.
I wanted to share that clip because she's an all-star athlete, extremely beautiful. I think she was awarded, actually, because I follow her on Facebook. Just to be brief before I move on, she was actually awarded like an award or something about being the prettiest woman in MMA or something like that. That's funny. Let me see. I mean, she's extremely pretty. I don't know if I can find that, locate that real quick, or I'm just gonna just move on. Yeah, but she's definitely a great role model. I mean, her partner, her husband's mulatto as well. She's working out, training every day. Um, you know, it's definitely somebody who we should. Yeah, found it. Cool, cool, cool. Let me share this real quick. I found it. Um, She's from the Netherlands. She's a Dutch woman, Dutch mulatta. It's a black mother and a white father. Yeah, she's from the Netherlands. She's a Dutch woman. It's funny how you say proper. She's proper, pretty. Yeah, yeah, no doubt, man, for sure. First time I seen her fight, I was like, or seen like a picture of her or whatever. I was like, oh wow, she's gorgeous. The body and everything. Bellator's MMA's 10 most beautiful fighters in 2022, and she won. Number one right here from the Netherlands. Oh, she's 33. Yeah. Denise Kielholtz is her name. She's from the Netherlands. Look at her face. So yeah, mulatto woman, a white father, black mother, and she's number one as far as Bellator. But I would say all MMA. Yeah, she's gorgeous. I mean, you nobody can deny that. Nobody can deny that. But like I said, I want to go back because of the article referencing that, the facial symmetry, the symmetry component, and the athleticism. Now she's a champion. She's a high level competitor in kickboxing. So she has it all. Let me go back into the article and then I'll drop the link for you guys. Let's go. Where we go right here. Cool. Yeah.
More intelligent even. There was a study in Hawaii that looked at interracial individuals on intelligence studies. Obviously, Hawaii is a big melting pot in terms of the United States. And there were
The thing is, though, with the Hawaii, see, this is where things get kind of convoluted and tricky because those are Hapa, or another term they use is Hafa. These are mixed Caucasian and Asian people. That's what you guys got to be aware of when you look at these kind of outside or monoracial people when they're commenting on mixed race people. They're trying to mix us and throw us in the same box as everyone else. We're like, whoa, wait a second. Different history, different experiences, different challenges. Like I'm telling you, hey, the Hapa women, they're gorgeous, beautiful women, but like we're not the same people. Mulatto people, we have different challenges, different experiences. You got to be careful of that when you look at this stuff. Do you like Amber Rose's looks? She's not ugly, but her behavior is, pretty atrocious, to be honest with you. I know she has short hair. She cut her hair short. Long hair could be better. I mean, she's not ugly. No, she's not ugly, but I mean, she's like a baby mama, right? Um, so she's hooked up with all these rappers and stuff like that. So that's not a respectable person. Like Denise Kielholtz, the woman I just shared with you, she doesn't have that baggage, we'd say. She doesn't have that reputation of sleeping around with different rappers. I mean, yeah, she hooked up for sure. She's hooked up with Andrew Tate. I shared with you guys that video where she was literally like the corner woman, training him, encouraging him. So of course they've been intimate. That's no doubt. But she's with a mulatto man married to one right now. So she obviously likes herself. She likes other mulatto people. We have to promote people like that. People who like us, they like their image. These are people we have to promote. Okay. That's what I'm doing here on this channel. I don't know what the hell Multifacial's doing. She's promoting everyone else but mulattoes. It's despicable. But like you said, Amber Rose is embarrassing. Yeah, yeah. She had a whole campaign, something called the Slut Walk, is what she promoted, where it was just basically depravity. You know, it's just I don't know, man. That's despicable, man. I mean, out of everything you can do, you just promote this just random foolishness that doesn't benefit anybody. Whatever, I'm going to continue on with this article here.
United States, and there were significant advantages there. So symmetry is definitely something that you want, and genetic diversity is how you get that.
We're talking with Alon Ziv, author of Breeding Between the Lines, Why Interracial People Are Healthier and More Attractive. I'd like to hear your thoughts about this, your comments, your questions. We're at 866.
Why interracial people are healthier and more attractive. Man, I love this. I love this. I love the way they're just getting straight to the point. Because I'm telling you, I shared pictures of Zoe Kravitz, and the other lady, Denise Kielholtz. And there's also a British woman I think I can share. Her name is Ashley Madekwe. I don't know if I could pronounce her name properly. She's a British woman and she's an actress. She is a mulatto as well. I was gonna talk about her on Halloween because she played a character the past Halloween 2020. She played a character um in the television series called what the hell was that series called? I saw it. It was about witches. It's called Salem. She played a character, a historical figure. There's not a lot of data based on it if she was a witch from Barbados or if she was mixed race. People are saying she could have been Indian or mixed race, or the history. This is 500 years ago. There wasn't a lot of data on it, but this lady here, Ashley Madekwe, she played the character, and look at her, she's gorgeous, a mulatto woman from England. Um, so yeah, that's the facial symmetry we're talking about, right? The forehead, cheekbone, facial symmetry, the fusion between European and African. And yeah, so I was going to talk about her last Halloween, but the thing is, the articles that I found, information on her, because she kind of has highlighted her heritage, dual heritage, so to speak, being mixed race. And I know she likes Mariah Carey. She looks up to Mariah Carey, but I don't know. The articles I saw, they were kind of social justice warrior leaning. It is a little too weird. And I don't want to promote a lot of that kind of weird liberal stuff on the channel. So I kind of just, I didn't want to talk about it. I was like, whatever. But I mean, shit, I'll show pictures of her because look at her, Like I'm saying, this falls in line with the facial symmetry, the symmetry. Um, Another, you know, top-notch lady. So she's an actress, right? I recognized her from the Salem series. Like I said, she played a historical figure. Um, but yeah, let me continue on. I don't want to sit around here simping and shit for some random chicks on the internet. Here we go, right here.
We're at 866-893-KPECC, 866-893-5722, or the Air Talk page, kpecc.org. Dan asks on the page, are you comparing interracial children with those not of mixed race? Are interracial children?
Yeah, the words, the language you're using is very tricky, right? Interracial children and all this stuff, interracial children. Like, what the hell does that mean, bro? Like, let's get specific to where their kind of heritage comes from, right?
Racial children equal depending on what the mix is? Does every mix yield an advantage?
Good question. In the world of population genetics, there are sort of two schools of thought. Some people are lumpers, where they lump everyone into a small number of groups, sort of the big racial categories that we're used to. Others are splitters, where they have 30 or 40 populations throughout the world that they like to focus on. I'm sort of agnostic on that issue. I think that race is more of a continuum. There are some people that are more different than you, and some people that are more similar to you. And the more different your mate is, the more genetic diversity your children will inherit. So in terms of, what's the best combination? Like I said, I think it's a continuum. The human race originated in Africa, and Africa is still, our greatest storehouse of genetic diversity. So I think generally, the product of a marriage between Africans and non-Africans would probably be where you'd see the effect the strongest.
Interesting. That's interesting assertion that this Caucasian man has just made, right? He said the strongest, his assertion would be basically the African and non-African, which then there is kind of ambiguous, right? Not exactly specific, like Blasian. Let me get to this. Yeah, Blasian or Afro Latino, etc. This gentleman right here, who's a whole Caucasian man, who's basically saying anything that's mixed with black. He didn't really want to go deep and say that 100%. I'll share the clip. You guys can review it later. But that's what he's basically stating. But they don't want to get to the specifics and say it's the black, white, biracial, mixed race, mulatto person. They don't want to get that specific because obviously you have people who are organized, like the HOPA Issues Forum. You have these other people. Now, what are some differences? Because he talked about, okay, symmetry as far as we are more attractive and athleticism. But what about the IQ component? I want to hear about that. The test scores, the IQ, analyzing intelligence. Because look, as you know, in these mixed race spaces online, there's a lot of fucking idiots. My whole position was I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not even. I mean, I have a bachelor's degree, and and the thing is, I got on here. I was like, look, I want to bring in smarter people than me. I want to have an audience of people smarter than me, smart people, and I want to bring in more people and talk to these people who are mixed mulatto people, and and to share with the public, because I'm looking at a lot of these people here. We got a lot of idiots, knuckleheads. The ghetto grandma, and then we got Irby, the fatal fruitcake, and multifacial movement. We got a lot of idiots, a lot of hood boogers, a lot of knuckleheads here. And these people can't speak for us. We need intelligent people to have the microphone to speak on mulatto issues. That's why I really appreciate Hybrid Vigor. We have people like Hybrid Vigor, who has a knowledge base, intelligence, who presents information, and he's been spot on with most of his analysis, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, analyzing the information, looking at the trends and the behavioral patterns of a lot of people, he's been spot on. A lot of haters, a lot of simp enforcers, a lot of knuckleheads are going to be haters. I see that, but Hybrid Vigor has been spot on. We need intelligent people around here, okay? You have a lot of knuckleheads and idiots who just want to hang out and act dumb. We need smarter people here. And so they don't mention that here. He talks about the attractiveness and the athletic capability. But when you get into the intelligence component, that's when you have the Hoppa issues forum comes into play. All right. That's when you have the other angle. But they're not talking about that. But here he's alluding to, oh, well, I think the half African and the half, non-African would be the good ones. Okay. Yeah. This is all good information to us, but let's continue on. And I'm going to drop the link very shortly. I've been here for a while. I told you guys I'd drop it a minute ago, but it's only a few minutes left.
See
So
the effect the strongest.
Allison in Glendale wants to raise the question about whether there's even a scientific basis to race itself. Allison, good to have you with us.
Great. Thank you so much. And just wanted to say I really appreciate anyone having a dialogue on race. It's so needed. And just want to say this is something I focused on for a long time, and there really is no science of race. We are not scientifically a particular race, and the human race has been very mixed for beyond what we even know scientifically. We go back as far as science just to the Greeks, but beyond the Greek civilization, there were other civilizations that really got into the melanin content and really studied it, including the ancient Kemet.
when I listened to this woman, I already knew, because I'm a speech by discipline. I'm a communication and speech guy by discipline. The first couple seconds of listening to this woman, I already knew she's of African descent. And it kind of solidified things when it kind of added more to my, exactness when she mentioned the race is, just a social construct. She said something of that sort, but then she solidified it when she stated the Kemetic science in Egypt. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a black lady we're talking about, and the whole idea of the whole, race, it's just a social, it's just made up. Particularly people who are the losers of society, they don't want to admit that there's actually a real game kind of going on, that there's real competition. So they got to make up these kind of frivolous philosophies to deal with the fact that they're at the bottom. And that's where Kimberly Crenshaw comes in with intersectionality. They got to make up all these victimhood statuses, and let's leverage our victimhood to compete in society. And you're still at the bottom. I mean, look, even Lizzo and all the other characters. I mean, you're still fat, you're still overweight, you're still, weird and uneducated. Even if you have education, I mean, is it applicable to real world matters, right? Can you compete with the Chinese and their infrastructure and the Russians, etc.? I mean, I'm just saying out here, right? Shit's competitive out here. And when I heard this lady, yeah, I already knew the whole, they don't want to believe that there is, in fact, race is a real thing because they're losing, right? That's the issue here.
The ancient Kemetans.
Hey, Allison, just because we're short on time, we can't get into the whole history that you want to talk about, but the notion of race is something you can really study.
Yeah, and that's a very
Yeah, so Magic just said it right here. She's trying to hit him with the "we all mixed" bullshit. Yeah, precisely. Yeah. We all mixed, we all the same, we all kangs and queens from Africa. It's basically admitting defeat. You can't compete with these other groups who are more equipped, who are organized, who have a code of conduct, because that's kind of the main cultural component. They have codes where it's like there's behavior that's acceptable, it's not acceptable. If you do this, you're going to be punished, you're going to be outgrouped. We don't want to deal with you. So yeah, and of course you state here, hearing that ancient Kemetic BS is annoying as fuck. It's pro whack talking points, right? People who were modern people. I don't. That woman could be in her 40s, 50s, etc. But she's talking about something that's thousands of years ago. Um, yeah, and trying to justify that, acting like they're kind of like a Google scholar, so to speak. Well, in the ancient times and ancient Kemet, the thing is, you guys got to know that these same people, when they have an argument or disagreement with you, they'll turn around and use all that ancient Kemet shit against your mixed race ass. They'll sit there and say, they'll reference Chancellor Williams. They'll sit there and say, well, we were kangs and queens in Africa, but the white man used a mulatto. The mulatto is to undermine us. We were kangs and we were ruling the earth, but the white man used a mulatto. So now we're not kangs anymore, and it's a conspiracy because the white man used the mulattoes to undermine the blacks. I'm telling you right now, all these people using that New Wapian, Nile River civilization, the Kemet, all that stuff, they're all pushing the conspiracy theories, anti-mulatto conspiracy theories. I'm just letting you guys know because I've already been around some of these characters and I've heard it all. Okay.
That's a very common question that I get. And, I mentioned that people on the left often have concerns and they always say the exact same thing. They say, but race is just a social construct. And that's a very common belief. But it's just not true. I agree with you 100%. There has been mixing throughout history. But at the same time, because of geographical and cultural barriers.
When all else fails, when you can't compete, when all else fails, when massa don't choose you, when all else fails, blame the mulattoes. Blame the mulattoes. When all else fails, when you can't compete, when massa don't choose you, just blame it on the mulattoes. Let's all feel better. Let's deal with the reality, right? And DC says, my dad tried to tell me my reading level was lower because he's black. Basically stereotyped himself and assumed mine. Your dad tried to tell you that your reading level was lower because he's black. That's interesting how that would work. I don't know what that has to do with race. Because you know how many there's a ton of black authors, so I mean some of the books that I kind of was very when I was like 17, 18, going to the library, I went to go read W. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X. Those were the books, the references that I went sought after. George Jackson as well was another one. So I was reading books from black authors way before I was reading, white authors, etc. So I don't know. I mean, anybody has the possibility to write a book. IQ stereotypes. So you check out the book, The Bell Curve. The Bell Curve. Now the IQ component, a lot of it has to do with culture. A lot of it, right? It's the value system and the culture. Because there's a reason why you have people from Africa, from Nigeria, who come here and who they excel and they outperform your FBA ADOS. So your FBA ADOS, they'll whine and cry and say, he's a tether. I don't like him because he's a tether. Oh, he a mulatto. Oh, he ain't from the hood. He don't listen to Nipsey Hussle, so he ain't from the hood. Oh, he Nigerian, so he a tether. So they make up all these grand conspiracy theories of why they can't compete. It's because of a culture. It's a cultural value system that's intact, I should say. And that the whole IQ component is tied to that. We can go into that in more detail later. This is something separate now.
Cultural barriers. A few hundred years ago, you were far more likely to marry someone similar to you than someone different. And if you look at the science, people of different races, respond differently to different medications. The FDA has actually approved a medication that's specifically for African Americans because they respond to some medications differently. You can send a cheek swab to ancestry.com. They'll tell you exactly what your racial makeup is. Different races suffer from different genetic disorders, and these are all biological things. There's nothing social about these things. So what I like to say is that race is not a social construct, but racism is. And the way that we approach race, that there's a ton of social baggage there, but race is real.
Let me share a listener comment, and this is from LA Girl. This is true. We Latinos should be beneficiaries of the genetic diversity. As someone who's had DNA tested, my results show Native American, European, Middle Eastern, Jewish, African, South Asian, even Oceania. Most other Mexican Americans I know have similar results. Our admixtures are fairly recent, too.
That's a good point. And, I think it's really interesting to look at Latin America in general, because there is a lot more genetic diversity there than there is in the United States in a lot of cases. And in particular, she mentions Mexico, but Brazil is, sort of the paragon of racial diversity. One Brazilian census had 134 different racial classifications. That's how blended their population is. And I think we can learn a lot from looking at them. I think it might be one of the reasons why Brazil's chief export is supermodels. But they're a cautionary tale too, because even though they've had so much
That's interesting. That's interesting. Brazil's chief export is supermodels. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some of the most beautiful people on the planet, I'd say, are Brazilian for sure, hands down. Just yeah, all across the board, gorgeous people in Brazil. But that's what this gentleman's saying. Alan Ziv is saying that basically supermodels, as far as their export, just models in general. Um, yeah, let me even on that note, I guess I can go fall in line back with the genetic what do you call the genetic symmetry, facial symmetry. Let me pull this up right here. There's a lady that I follow from Brazil, and let me see if I can find it right now. No, I can't. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Can't find it. Fuck it. Let me continue on.
even though they've had so much blending, it has not fixed racism in their society. There's still a bias that favors people of lighter complexion in Brazil, and that is, darker complexion is seen as a negative. And so I think, interracial marriage is, as I mentioned, is on a huge spike in the United States. I think that's a really positive step, but it's not going to solve all of our problems.
Maury in Northridge, you're on Air Talk.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Before I get into that, actually, I just found it, so I want to share something real quick that I found. This lady here is from Brazil, Vivi Nunes, right? She's a dancer, professional dancer in Brazil. I mean, I don't know. You tell me. He's talking about supermodels, even just regular models or dancers, you know, in Brazil. Obviously, she's shaking her butt. It's obviously kind of thirst trap per se, shaking her butt, but so he's talking about this is a number one export. That's what he said for Brazilian in Brazil, number one export. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely makes you want to go to Brazil, learn your Portuguese and go to Brazil, right? I just kind of want to share that because I follow her, Brazilian lady. But he talks about supermodels. I don't follow any supermodels. She's not a supermodel, but yeah, she's a model. I think more so a dancer per se. But yeah, I think this is fitting, worthy enough of a share for sure. Cool. Let me get back into it. And then of course drop the link right now.
not true.
Yeah, I want to get into this right here, like you said. Yeah, passport pookies are messing up Brazil for Americans. Yeah. Yeah, they are. They're messing up Colombia, all the Dominican Republic, they've already destroyed that. I mean, yeah, all those cultures of passport pookies are basically ruining it because they can't get along with their own women, right? Their own women are divesting and looking at other options. All those queens are gonna go to Bluish's channel, right? They're gonna sub and subscribe to Bluish. They're gonna subscribe to Bluish because he's got a black mom, so they're just gonna go for him, right? Right? That's how it works. If that was the case, Bluish would already be at 1,000 subs. I mean, shit. Because it's an easy market. All this divester shit. I mean, that's an easy market to tap into to get your subs up. This mulatto thing, strictly black, white, biracial. This is like kind of niche market, But this is what I'm dedicated to this. This is the people I have here in the chat. Listen to me. These are the people I want over here. You are a mulatto person, you're black, white, biracial, mixed race, whatever you call yourself. I want you over here. This is a space for you. And even AJ, the moderator, kind of already went over the numbers and stuff like that. But yeah, if you just cater to black people, oh, your subs will go up. Talk shit, you know, have your celebrity drama and all that stuff. Black women, black men, whatever. You get, because they don't have any businesses. They're working for most of them, 90+% work for another race of people. So a lot of them, they're online all day fucking around. So of course you can tap into that market. No problemo. So I just dropped the link. And then of course you say here, it says City of God is an awesome Brazilian movie. Yeah, check that out. I'm going to finish this up real quick, guys.
It's not true. Okay. Now, if you're talking about MHC alleles, which govern the immune system, that's great. Absolutely. The more diversity you have, the more diseases you can fight. Also, when you're making a statement between, let's say, farm animals or corn, there's very little diversity there. Of course not, because they've been artificial breeding. But human beings in general have a great deal of diversity, like any wild animal population. Okay? You can have a case where there's outbreeding depression, just like inbreeding depression, where things don't work because, you have, let's say, different plants with different flowering times or things like that.
Sure, I agree with you, and I think that you can see outbreeding depression. That's not something we've seen in the studies with humans. It's true that there is a lot of genetic diversity in humans, but at the same time, our population was relatively small, 100 generations ago, and so I think that this effect is real. We're seeing it in the studies out of UCLA and Penn State. And as you mentioned the MHC alleles, which are part of our immune system. That's a very important factor. And there are some interesting studies that find that women are more attracted to men with different MHC alleles than they have. So this is sort of a subconscious system that our body is using to try and get genetic diversity for our offspring.
We have Ed writes on the page, diversity in animal husbandry gives us the mule, which is sterile. So
it's true. And, mule is actually the origin of the term mulatto.
Now, this is kind of I guess you can say, the thesis statement. I don't know. Typically, the thesis is at the beginning. But this right here is definitely, I already reviewed this, interview, and I definitely wanted to highlight this, where this gentleman here, this Alan Ziv, Caucasian man, who's kind of mixing up everyone together, Hapa, mulatto, mixed race, very broad terms. He's letting you know right now, in his opinion, his mindset, mulatto comes from the word mule. Let's continue on. I'm going to rewind it a little bit and then add some commentary.
Mulatto, which is, a negative term alleles than they have. So this is sort of a subconscious system that our body is using to try and get genetic diversity for our offspring.
We have Ed writes on the page, diversity in animal husbandry gives us the mule, which is sterile. So
it's true. And, mule is actually the origin of the term mulatto, which is, a negative term for someone who is mixed race.
No, it's not. No, it's not. This gentleman here, this is Alan Ziv. Let me go back to his screen here a second so we can have. I'm going to send this to this guy here because we have to start telling people it's our responsibility. Look, you want these other people to talk for you, talk about you, and talk for you. They're going to mix you up with everyone essentially to neutralize you. He literally publicly stated that someone who's half African, like myself, half black with something else, were the kind of more, beneficial ones, etc. I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but he basically said we're the ones who benefit the most from this process. But he literally publicly stated right now that mulatto is a negative term. It means mule. No, it's not. So I got to publicly tell him this right now. I'm going to send him this clip so he knows, and the rest of his buddies who want to push this stuff, because we can't let these people speak for us. Obviously, you're listening to me right now. This is a mulatto vanguard publicly. And we got people like him. I don't have nothing against this guy. I don't know this guy. I think he's doing great work. That's fine. I'm reviewing it. I'm studying it, learning from it, etc. But no, we got to push back against that because there's a lot of people like this who are in academia, in this field of work, in biology and etc., who are literally going to frame the whole discussion, mix you up with all the Hoppas and all the Latinos and everyone else to neutralize your ass and tell you you can't call yourself a mulatto. That's an offensive term. No, I'm calling myself a mulatto because it distinguishes myself from these other groups. You're trying to erase us and trying to say we're just like everyone else. No, we're not. Politically, culturally, our experience in this country is a lot different. We have different challenges in this country that other groups don't have. We get pushback from blacks, we get pushback from whites, and other groups are jealous of us. Our experience is different. And we got to push back when people like this want to tell us that we can't identify like that. Oh, it's an offensive term. No, it's not. I have a black father, white mother. I fall into the mulatto category. It's not an offensive term. We're taking it back. Just like the blacks took back the N-word. Even there's white people who will call themselves rednecks and stuff like that. And other groups of people will use kind of negative terms to identify themselves. We're doing the same thing. We're taking back the mulatto term. It's our term. You're not going to steal it from us. Let me finish the clip. I wanted to highlight that so you guys can have an understanding.
Athletic and
Well, we're
free of
doing
disease.
we're doing the experiment right now in the real world with intermarriage and mixed race ethnicity kids, and we'll see what comes of it. Alon Ziv, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate the book.
Alon Ziv. What's going on, Anthony? Anthony's in the house. I apologize. Wanted to finish that up.
Spartans!
Nah, it's all good, man. What's up, man?
What is
Hope
your
everything's good.
profession?
But that's like, is the guy trying to prove that there's just differences amongst like the different races? Like, is that what the conversation is about? 'Cause I didn't hear the whole thing, but
Yeah, no, I'll definitely share this clip. This article has been out for a minute. I haven't heard anyone else talk about it, so I want to get up here and chop it up with you guys. But I heard that too. What really caught my attention is how he basically said mulatto was kind of an offensive term. I was like, whoa, wait a second. These younger people, they're reclaiming that, And
there's a guy who called it a like. I used the term on my TikTok, and he's like, oh, it's like on my my like display name thing. He's like, oh, you got a racial slur on on your page, and I'm like, bro, what are you talking? And this is a black guy too. He's not even a mulatto dude. So I'm like, it's not a racial slur. What the hell are you talking about?
yeah. Well, the same thing happened to me on TikTok. It was another black person who did the same thing. The reason why is because they don't want you to identify with something independent from them. That's what they're
Right.
scared about. When you acknowledge that you have European ancestry, you have a loving European parent, they get bothered by that. And you're like, well, I'm a mulatto. I'm kind of black. I understand the culture. It's part of who I am, but I'm not fully black. I'm something different, right? A lot of
Hmm.
them, they get offended by that. So the first thing they're going to say is, oh, that's a racist slur. You can't say that. Yeah. It's typically, what I found is black people who will push back against that for sure.
Yeah, because it's like they don't want us to claim that because they think, oh, well, if you claim that, you're putting yourself on top of us. But the funny
Hmm.
thing is, if you claim black, then they put you below them. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? It's
Right.
like it's
That's a
crazy.
fact. Yeah, that's big facts. If you claim black, they're like, well, you're not black like me. You ain't oppressed like me. You don't have dark skin like me. You got to have two black
Exactly.
parents. You ain't black like me. Yeah, so that's the game that you're stuck in that quagmire. Yeah. The thing is, though, when you said like with having mulattoes, a lot of them don't like the term mulatto because they'll put you above them. The future is golden is the main person I've seen in these online mixed spaces who pushes that. She publicly stated she doesn't like the word mulatto because she feels like it'll put us above black people. And my whole thing was, well, why the hell are you here in mixed race spaces talking to us? Go over there in the pro black space and push all that stuff. Why are you over here with us? So that's subversion to me. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
laying it out there.
Yeah, I don't really understand her ideology. You know what I mean? I've talked about that on my video the other day. It's real. It's just weird. She said something about biracial. She wouldn't claim biracial because she thinks it's offensive to biracial, so that's why she won't claim mulatto. I don't know. It was just a whole bunch of nonsense. And again, this is coming from someone who doesn't show their face, and it's just like, if,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? If you can't even show your face, it's like that's showing you want to just say all your bullshit. And then if you ever want to just get off of YouTube, you can do that. No one knows who you are. But she can walk up to us on the street and smack us in the back of the head. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know. It's just I can't deal with some of these people, man.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. That's how it is with me 100%. I've been in these kind of little weirdo spaces for the past 7 months or so, just trying to figure shit out. My whole thing is, look, I want to connect with other mulatto people. Very basic, very simple. My position has been the same from day one. There's no flip-flopping. And I look at some of these characters, yeah, like the future is golden. I'm like, why the hell are you here? Like, do you just want to cape for black people, which is fine, just stick to your channel. But she still wants to talk about mulatto and this term and that term. I'm like, just get out of here. Like, you're not in our discussion. She's a faceless troll. You're not in our discussion. Mulatto people have already told you, just go over there, have fun. Like, but it's very bizarre. Yeah, she keeps trying to insert herself where it's not wanted, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And she's just trying too hard, and it's really honestly kind of sad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how old she is, but I could assume she's probably in her late 40s.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just really sad. You can't. You would think someone who's older would want to show their face, right? But it's like I can understand like a younger person being afraid, but an older person though that wants to
Hmm.
be in these important conversations that kind of want to hide themselves and play. And like I've told her before, you play victim, lie. She just went on multi-stream lying about me. Oh, I'm hostile to the women. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
Oh, she's horrible. Yeah,
I'm like, oh
she's
my
bad.
gosh.
That's what I was telling some other cat. I was basically like, she appears to be extremely innocuous. Like she's non-threatening. She's so nice, but she's a subverter. She's involved in subversion. She's very sneaky how she tries to
Yeah,
play.
it's dangerous. Like when she does that stuff, I'm thinking to myself, like, this is the type of woman that would lie on a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, and
yeah.
get him locked up. Like that's the type of woman she is. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. She's very sneaky, man. That's why I blocked her a long time ago. What it was is because she came at me. She messaged me in Discord, basically trying to like bark orders. I blocked her. I was like, "Who is this person? Random person." You know.
and that's why me and her had an issue in the beginning because this you seen it when me and you did we did one stream and she came on with hostile energy. Oh, what are your kids? Bringing my kids into this. And then I'm like, okay. And then she wants to write me. She basically got mad because you were on my stream. That's basically what it was. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, I don't owe any of you any loyalty. Like, I just make videos, whatever. I don't owe you guys anything. And it's just like, oh, well, they're not allowed in the space. I'm like, what space? Like, this is YouTube. Like, I don't.
Like
So what
she's
is
the
it?
boss.
Yeah, so
I mean,
that's
the
why we bump
balls,
heads.
the
That's
balls
why.
that she tries to have, like, that's what I'm saying. She acts like she's a dictator of the space. Like she's like this matriarchy, like the men got to be under control under her. I'm like, whoa, you're not welcome on my channel. What I'm doing over here, have a good day over there. It's
Yeah,
bad,
yeah.
man.
She's banned on my shit at this point. After what she just pulled tonight with the whole, oh, he's hostile. I don't know what I did. I'm just like, are you serious? Like, I
Playing
got
victim.
messages.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm like, she literally just deleted like half of our messages, like after I made that stream. Like, I'm like, so you trying to hide evidence that you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the sneaky. You're right. Like, it's just very sneaky. It just, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, man, I seen that months ago, bro. I seen that months ago before I seen you, and I already blocked her. I was like, yeah, she's bad news, man. Like she attacks men. She tries to go after men to get them under control. So you notice the guys on her channel, the guys she likes on her channel, basically agree with everything she says. And guys like
Right.
us, we have our own channel, we have our own audience, we have our own voice. She has a problem with us. Like, I mean, yeah, you can't make this shit up, man. Like, just the ego on her is out of this world, and she doesn't show her face. Like you said, she's probably in her 40s. She sounds like an older woman.
Yeah,
I'm
she
like,
does.
just give it up. I'm like, look, the younger people, we're not rocking with you like that, especially if you don't show your face. We're not vibing with
Exactly.
you. Yeah,
And my thing is this, I told her too, I said, look, I never personally attacked you. I never said anything about you. It just I don't agree with what you do. That's it. It's not personal, but to lie, oh, I'm hostile to you and I'm doing it. And I've noticed that all of them do that. You know what I mean? It's just like they're all upset because I won't diss you and hybrid. That's all it's about. It's like you won't diss those two men, so we don't like you. And it's just
right.
like I don't, you know what I mean? Whatever issue y'all have, that's not my problem. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah, it's a
I don't
way.
know.
It doesn't benefit you at all, right? There's what do you get from it in the end? Like you don't get anything out of it because they're going to throw you under the bus. I mean, when you disagree with them. I mean, just look at our work, watch my videos, look at my relationships with people online. I mean, everything will become clear. I mean, it's not that difficult to see like who's in the wrong here, what their channels are about, what they're, spewing on their channels. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty level-headed. I feel like I have a good amount of supporters, my subscribers, people over here. I like the
Right.
people. I got mulattoes over here. This is good. This is what I wanted from the start. There's no hidden agenda, you know. It is what it is, man. I mean, what else can I
Yeah,
say?
yeah, yeah. And that's just how it gotta be. You know what I mean? I think from what I've seen, a lot of them over there built their channels off of beef. So that if you built your channel off of beef and drama, then you're gonna have to keep up the beef and drama to stay relevant. So they're always gonna. It seems like that's all they're gonna do is just beef, 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 beef. And like I jumped on there, this girl literally. I never had an issue with this woman. Never said nothing to her. Whatever. She's trying to bait me into an argument, and then when I finally snap, oh, oh, get off the, you a bitch, and da da da. It's like, I'm like, come on, like
Bro,
it's just
bro,
embarrassing.
Bro, it's a behavioral pattern. This everything you're talking about would happen to you now. I didn't listen to her stream. I scheduled my stream purposely to kind of intersect her stream.
Yeah,
Everything that happened with you and her, that happened to me months back. I learned my lesson. I thought I was on the panel. I was like, "Hey, multi golden goddess, we're all mulattoes here." Hybrid was on the panel. I was like, "Look, we're all mulattoes. We should all be getting along. I'm not trying to argue with you." And she went after me. She was like, how dare you say that we're all mulattoes? She was trying to frame me as a racist. I was like,
yeah,
whoa. She was trying to attack me. It was weird shit. I was like, this does not make sense. Like, I didn't come on
yeah.
the
It was
internet to fight people. Like, I came on the internet to make friends and talk to people. But this lady, this multiracial, multifacial, I call her, was trying to fight me and bait me into an argument and a fight. I was like, this is not normal shit, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, that shit was weird as hell. Like she's like, oh, you said it was funny how Gigi got 1,000 subscribers and was like F the Golden Spear. And I was like, that's what it looked like. I thought that was funny. Well, it wasn't funny. I'm like, okay, it's funny to me. It's funny. And she literally used that as a reason to attack me. Like that's the stupidest shit, man. Like I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in their personal life, but I don't. Maybe they're not happy with the personal life or something. But yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. It was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. they're kind of depressed baby mamas. So, like I said, they come on YouTube looking for drama. Their market is drama, basically, to promote their channels. I feel like I don't have to do that. I can talk about these stories. I can connect with people, collaborate with people. I can build an audience, a network without that drama foolishness. Here and there, I can kind of throw in some stuff. Like yesterday, I kind of, went in on Bluish a little bit, which was necessary because Bluish was getting all uppity. But
Yeah.
I usually don't partake in that type of stuff. I try not to, very respectful. But yeah, the multi is completely out of line. She's probably the worst person here. Like I said, the future is golden. She serves underneath Golden Goddess. And Golden Goddess is at the top, and then multi serves Golden Goddess, and then future is golden.
I'm seeing that, yeah.
You see the structure, the hierarchy, right?
Because my thing is like, yeah, because I thought, like I said, me and her never even talked before ever, right? So when I got on there and she's just coming at me, like, I'm like, okay, this is in defense of Golden Goddess because I didn't say nothing to you. And you know what I mean? And me and Golden Goddess, I don't have to agree with everything, but we never even had a real exchange either, like a bad one. So I'm like, why are you attacking me in defense of her instead of just, let's have a conversation. Then, she's like, oh, you could leave the panel. I was like, you could kick me off because if I leave, what you going to say? Oh, you're running? You know what I mean? So then I come back up. Oh, apologize because you called me a bitch. I was like, I ain't apologizing for shit. Like, you're not, like, she going to call me a bitch and then get mad that I returned what she said to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just like, it's childish, man. Like, I don't know, man. But about the topic, though, this is an interesting topic. Not trying to derail the conversation to the drama, but the topic about the symmetry and the genetic benefits. There's definitely benefits to being mulatto. That's a fact, and I think everybody knows that. You know what I mean? And which is why they hate on it. So you're right. If you do start to embrace that term, you embrace who you are. It's like they can't, even on my channel, right? Like there's a lot of black people that come to my channel, and like that's another thing that these trolls try to use against me. Like that's gonna do anything. Like you know what I mean? Anybody's can come to my channel. You know what I mean? But it's funny because if you see my channel now, people are using the term mulatto a lot more in my chat room. You know what I mean? In like a positive way. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, it definitely has an effect. No one's gonna use that MGM. I'm on a boat all by myself term. Like it's just not like, but
yeah, most definitely, man. Oh, I think Magick dropped off. Hey, Magick, if you want to jump up, I'll let you up right now. Hit the link. I'll add you.
Yeah, I saw Bluish's thing too, man. I don't know. Some of it was kind of funny, but I don't really like the whole, oh, we're gonna try to turn. It seems like he's on some serve black women stuff, and I was like, that's kind of, if that's your target audience, then I get it, but it just kind of makes you look a little bad, like because those women are never gonna respect him for real. Because let's be honest, a lot of those divestors, they really do want black men, but they just can't get them. They can't get the ones that they want, so they're never gonna want to get with Bluish because they're gonna be like, well, you're still mixed. I don't want a mixed guy. I want, what's it called, a Michael B. Jordan. But they'll entertain some of it, but they're not. And I think he might know that. Like they're never really gonna try to really mess with him.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, dude, he's older than us. He's older than all of us. We're all like, we're the same age, bro. Like this guy's a decade older than us. Like it should have worked for you already. If you're caping for all these black chicks, and that's what I'm saying too. Like they want black men, but they're like the unattractive ones because an attractive black woman has no problem getting pretty much any guy she wants.
Yeah,
right?
Any race too.
Yeah. So I'm like, he caters to the chicks who are like very insecure, who are femcells, and they're just bitter divestors. Like, it's not working out for him. What's up? What's up, Magick?
What up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Pretty good. You've been busy today, huh? You were in a couple streams.
I've been on a world tour. I've been on like the panel. It's been fun. Yeah, it's been lit today, but. Yeah, were you on the other? Because I wanted to just thank you for doing we have an alternative now because it was at one point where that was like the main voice of this. That was like the only voice of the space was the nonsense and the drama. That was the only thing we would hear about, So we have like an alternative where we're actually trying to have like discussions and conversations and not just drama and nonsense and fighting and bickering. Like I'm just happy we have an alternative. Like we needed that, so I'm happy you guys went live at the same time because. I don't know. Were you over there? Oh my God, what you doing?
Oh yeah, I had to go. But I don't regret it, but I'm not gonna go on it again. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like,
Just,
nah,
do
it's
you,
not
right?
even
You just
worth it.
gotta, yeah,
Because
you
I
just
look at
figure it
them as
out.
like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like I look at them as just failures. Like, you know what I mean? Like us, like right,
Damn.
like you just said, Vanguard. Like we're all young. You know what I mean? We have like our whole lives ahead of us. Like a lot of them are like in their late 40s. You know what I mean? Like kids probably 18, 20 years old. Like I mean, we have our whole future ahead of us. Like, me and you, Magic, have young children. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
gotta waste my time and my energy talking with people like that who barely
Yeah.
show their faces. Even all of even the one even like Gigi and Multi, they don't really show their face. They show little little pictures. They don't show themselves. So it's like clearly you're not happy with yourself because you don't even want to show yourself. So like it's just like you just want to be in drama. Like even on my channel, you see I try to have like educational discussions, you know what I mean? So sometimes they don't really get the
Yeah,
views
that's all we
because
care about. We just want to
yeah,
talk,
but
have discussions, and yeah.
when you do that you get quality people though. You know what I mean? When you
Facts.
build a channel
Mm-hmm.
off of beef, you're just gonna get people that
Thank
want beef. But when
you.
you build it
I've been
off of
trying to
quality,
see that.
yeah.
I've been trying to speak out against this nonsense for a long time because just like on the other guy, he said that he left the space because it was so negative. I'm like, that's like 90% of the people don't want to deal with negativity when they come online. Like most people don't want to deal with that. So I've been trying to speak out against this forever. Like, okay, I tried to work with Multi and Gigi at one time. Like we were all like trying to like collab and work together at one time, right? And I was cool with Angry Biracial at the time, and they're on some you gotta pick a side stuff. Like you have to either pick us or
Hmm.
them. It was some stuff like that, and then I was just like, I'm like you. I'm like I'm an independent. If y'all beefing got nothing to do with me, I don't even care.
They
I'm like
even
I'm
brought that up when
fair.
I got on there. Like nobody likes a fence sitter. It's like, people are like,
Dude,
what are you talking
y'all
about?
beefing got nothing to do with me. I ain't gonna sit here and fight
Yeah,
and
I like who I'm cool with who
anybody.
I'm cool with. That's it. Like,
And I
you know?
said that I was like, look, that's a boundary of mine. Don't try to get me because if you just nonstop drama, I got to be involved in every single one. Like that's just no, I ain't doing all that. I don't got time for that. Like we got lives, we got other things going on. I don't got time for that. So yeah, so I was like, I can't do that. I'm not. Don't get me involved in all your bullshit. Okay, so I just want to be about the content, and it was cool. We were like doing live streams and everything together, and I disagreed with you. Remember? You remember that receipt? They posted that receipt on me. I disagreed with them one time about talking about how this is a marketing strategy. Like this, you think this is the only way to promote the space is through drama.
Right.
And I said I disagree with that. Like I think that we could do other things. We could brainstorm other ways to like promote the space. And they kicked me out the space. But guess who it was that kicked me out
Who?
specifically? It was Future.
Future.
It was
Yep.
Future.
Oh my gosh, this woman, I told
So
you about her.
I
Like,
tried
I
to be her friend
told
because
you.
we talked it
Oh
out.
my
No, because we talked it out. Because I thought it was them two. I was like, "Yo, I disagree with y'all." And then all of a sudden, then I started saying, "This is like a cult. Like, I can't disagree with people. Like, that's weird. Like, if you're supposed to be collaborating with people, you're supposed to have like, I'm just supposed to like be under them, basically, like you said. Like, I'm supposed to just be under them and just do everything they tell me to do. And I can't say how. And I thought that was like weird. That's weird. I'm like, no, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like a loyal, but it's like, what does loyalty mean to y'all? It means I gotta just I can't disagree with y'all if I feel like you're wrong about something. I don't know. But anyways, right? But I tried to be her friend. Like I was cool with her. I haven't really spoke about it publicly, but we did fall out behind the scenes, right? Because I squashed the beef with Hybrid because me and Hybrid weren't beefing no more. And then she was like, "Oh, she don't want to mess." I respect her decision though. Like, if you don't want to mess, like anybody, that's cool. I respect her
Well, not,
decision.
I wouldn't bring, I'm not gonna try to bring up the behind the scenes, but you've seen,
Mhm.
like, she's been so disrespectful to me behind the scenes. You was on the
I
call
was
with us,
there.
like,
I was there.
yeah,
That's
you
how I
were
was
on the call.
like,
Like, it's like
I
this woman has cussed me. I try to cuss me out, boss me around, tell me what to do, to F you, all types of stuff. Like, but now you go on this person's stream and say, I'm hostile. Oh, I'm the hostile energy guy. Like, are you serious? Like, she literally just deleted like almost all her messages she sent me on Discord like yesterday. And I'm like, so you're trying to
I'm
hide
witness.
evidence? It's just like, it's just
Anyways,
weird as
yeah,
hell.
but I try to be really her friend. Like I try to, like Jose be like, you cool with me, I'm cool with you, type of thing. And I don't got no beef with nobody. I really don't. And it's just sad. It makes me sad, honestly, because I really did think of her as a friend, but then she kind of like was like, well, if you're cool with this person, I'm completely like just, and it was like, it's weird because I didn't care about like I don't care about who other people are cool with, but it's like I don't know when it comes to me, it's like, oh, you have to be only cool with people I like, or I don't know. I don't like that at all. I don't like that because it's like, I get it. At the same time, I don't get that. People are bad. I get it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. just be minding my
I don't
business.
get it. I don't get it because I never did that to anybody. Like even people that come on
I
my
know that I
channel, like
never.
there's people that come on my channel that go to other channels that I have like sometimes I get into heated arguments. I tell them all the time,
Mhm.
you can go there, come back here. I don't care. I'm not going to tell you where to go.
Exactly. Let people. It's the
But
internet. Imagine telling strangers on the internet what to do. I can't. Like I can't do that.
yeah, I wouldn't even tell someone I know that. Like you know what I mean?
Can you
Like I'm like, do
imagine?
what you want
Yeah,
to
that's
do.
what I said. Can you imagine taking orders from like people on the internet that are across the country that you'll never meet in real life? Like, can you imagine that? Like, how crazy is that? Like, like, no, I'm not gonna sit here and be told what to do by some random person online that we don't. But anyways,
Well, look
but
at it this way: like me, you, and Mulatto Vanguard, our channels, like compared to from what I see, like our channels are growing. Their channels are
yes,
growing super slow. Like it's like okay, so obviously we're doing something
I
right.
tried.
You know what I mean?
I tried. I tried, man. I tried. Like I really did. Because I was inspired by most. I always say that. Like they were the ones that were like, "Oh, we want more people, more voices in the space." And then as soon as I get a channel, what they do is start trying to pick fights with me and start trying to beef with me. And like that's the first thing
Well, if you do
they
have
started
time,
doing. Like
if you do have time
you
and
said
you go
what?
watch it, you'll be able to see that. I hop on there, I'm like chilling, and she literally just completely picks a fight with me over something so stupid. Like,
They pick
Yeah.
fight
and I'm
because
just
that they
like,
need to keep up the
okay.
drama. Like they need new people to come this way because you can't keep beefing with the same people over as it gets boring, right? So you
Hmm.
need new people to come to space and then you pick fights and drama with them so you can
Yeah,
keep
the
up the
beef
drama because
was,
that's
oh,
only
you
the
said
channel.
what you said. She literally said but the beef she had was that what I said wasn't funny because I said GG got 1,000 subscribers. She said F the golden spear, which
It
she
was
kind of did.
true, but it was true though.
She kind of
Was
did.
it?
She said,
Was
I'm
it?
not
Was
part of the
it?
garden
Was
spear. I'm
it okay.
independent. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
The same thing. The same thing that happened to you, it happened to me, man. Months back. The same exact thing. It happened to me. I hopped up on the panel trying to defend myself, and I never had an issue with that woman at all. But see, like Magic was saying, their whole platform, their whole strategy is to beef with random people to keep the drama going. That's their content. Their content is based off drama. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's disappointing because I really thought like in the like you said, we have to really know who's who, what these channels are really about. So I really thought like, oh yeah, they're pro biracial, they're trying to fight for biracial people, they're about biracial. I really, really did believe that in the beginning, but it was all fake. Like it was all just no, I'm just using this so I could, like you said, as soon as I get the 1,000 views, it's over. I don't care about that biracial stuff no more. I just got my 1,000 views in it or my 1,000 subscribers, and then I'm doing my own thing. Like it was just I don't know. I just want to make sure like who's really like about like really I just want people to be about what they say they're about, instead of just using being biracial and being as a way to just get clout. And then once you get that clout, it's I'm done. Bye. I'm on to the next. Like it really did hurt me. It really did because I really did
But
believe
you
that
can't be in
it
this
was
for the
about
clout because let's be honest.
it's
Who's
not too
gonna
much.
be really yeah, who's gonna really be your audience? Like you
It's
know
not
what I
too
mean?
much. It's not too much. Exactly. If you're in it for the clout, you're not gonna last long because there's not too much. And I never really cared about the clout. Like I never really wanted to come on. I really wanted to make a channel to help the space grow. Because I believe in like having like a space for us because there wasn't any. So that's what I really cared about, helping the space grow and actually be a good space for us and positive. And yeah, what's up, hybrid?
Although they have abandoned the quest, they still dip in and out as if they're in it. You know what I mean? Like, although they abandoned the movement, I'm talking about
They talk
going
about fence
Congress thing.
sitters. Yeah,
Multiverse.
they can't
Yeah,
talk about nobody being a
yeah,
fence sitter. They can't talk about
yeah. They,
nobody
they,
being.
they, they yeah, they police that stuff too. Continue. I was actually just testing out my mic. I wasn't sure if I was hooked up properly.
Yeah, your mic is good. Your mic is good. Now, same thing with people like Jose. Like, I don't know Jose. I have no issues with him, but he's just a random, like, Latino guy. But he wants to kind of interject himself into the discussion as if he said he created a whole channel about Golden Sphere. He wants to learn about multiracial. He should sit back and listen to those of us who actually are mulatto people and listen to our experiences. He created a whole channel and he's on Team Gigi and Multi. I mean, it's just weak shit. I don't know, man. Like, I've been saying that from the start. Like, the guys they like are weak men who don't have channels, the guys they can punk, because you've already learned, Anthony, you got a channel, you have an audience. Same thing with me. We have our own voices. They have an issue with that. They try to challenge us. They compete with us. They look at us as
The
competition
men, yeah. Like,
for as men for women.
But here's the thing, it's crazy too. You're
You
right,
can't get them
because
to work with you.
I don't have an issue with Jose, but this is the thing. It's like, okay,
I
so
like Jose.
everybody could
right?
see, yeah, I'm like, everybody could see how they came at me on that panel, and not one of them is ever gonna say, you know what, that was kind of messed up. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
they
they
will
would never do
always. They will. They're just yes men. They're yes men. They'll always yes the woman there. Whatever they
Yeah, and
say,
even when I came
they'll just
back up,
repeat it.
even when I came back up, you could see Gigi wanted to have a conversation, but what's her name? She wanted to be on some, oh, you gotta apologize to me. I'm like, I'm not apologizing to you. Like, what are you talking about? And she gonna
Yeah,
kick me off. I'm like, all
it's
right.
her way. Yeah, it's her way of like trying to punk you. She's like Gigi's little pit bull. I think Gigi is a little more diplomatic, I'll be honest with you. She's bad, obviously. She's a drunk alcoholic, but she is, I'll give her that. She's a little more diplomatic in some of those matters, because the same thing that happened to you,
Yeah, I agree.
Anthony, I haven't watched it. You said it happened a couple hours ago. Obviously, I was doing the stream. I'm gonna go back and watch it. I'm telling you, bro, the same thing happened to me. Hybrid was there. This was like several months ago. Multi tried to come at me hard. I was like, whoa, like this was all new to me. I was like, I come in peace. I'm trying to be friends with people. But to them, they look at that as a weakness because they're all about battle, trying to fight random people on the internet. I was like, this is weird shit, man. I didn't come on here to fight with, especially these hood rats. I don't know these people, you know?
Yeah, they went hard
No,
against you. They're talking about you were racist and you were this, and they went hard against you. Oh my god, I don't even know because I don't
who,
watch
me
their
or
channel.
who's
But
But they
stuff
do it
like
when
that.
it's convenient. Sometimes it's not even because they care. They're just doing it as like to slow you down, to kind of just slander you, just to like
Yeah,
things
because
that
I don't
they've
watch
said
their
already
stuff.
or something.
Like,
They'll just take advantage of it. I hate that.
yeah, all of
Not
a sudden you're a
consistent.
potato head and all these crazy shit, and I was like, as soon as you're growing and doing better. But people talk about crabs in a bucket all the time, but that's classic crabs in a bucket. As soon as you're doing better, people want to attack you and bring you down.
But I would agree with you, Vanguard. Like, I do think Gigi's a little bit more diplomatic, because even like I said, when I got in the panel, she did want to try to have that conversation. But then, like I said, this stranger, because I don't, like I said, I've never talked to Multi before. She wants to just come at me like that, call me a bitch, and oh, you're sassy. Okay, but somebody's in the chat blocking my comments, and you're just talking trash about me. But it's like,
Oh, was that who's blocking the comments? TGF?
I don't know who was blocking it,
Future?
but they were just disappearing.
Future does
You know
that.
what I mean?
Future does that. She deletes them. She said that to me
Yeah,
when
they
I was
were just
in multi
disappearing.
set.
So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it
Man, I
was.
mean, they've been treating you wrong since you first got into space. Since those first troll videos came out, I feel like they've been treating you
It's,
wrong, like and giving
yeah,
you.
they said that in the
And I don't
video too.
like
They're like,
that.
oh, he holds a grudge. I'm like, you came at me for no damn reason.
Yeah, they've been
You know
treating you
what I
like
mean?
shit ever since you first got here, like with no respect. And but then she want
They
to
keep
claim
going
you like,
back. So
this is the space is it, like she want to claim you like, oh, Anthony Ali. Like I remember that on that thing. 'Cause it was
I
like,
used to go
well,
back
why are
too.
you treating him like shit at the same time? If it's like, oh, you want Anthony Ali to like rep you like it was me.
Well,
Remember
no,
that?
it's
Remember that
because
part of the video?
they want me to diss Hybrid mostly, and they want me to go at him and Vanguard, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have an issue with them. Like, I don't have to agree with everything. Nobody agrees with everything, but they want me. That's what it is. They want me to diss y'all, and I was like, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
I
do
just
that.
think
well,
there just needs to
it's
be
the opposing
respect.
space, I guess. It's like the two spaces. Like they have kind of one way of doing things, and we kind of go on at it another way.
Yeah, but disrespect gets old real fast. Because like I said, like I was talking to you about it. Like I've cut people off, and I felt like they were being disrespectful to me. And then if you want to be like, I'll be cool with anybody who's just gonna be respectful. That's it. But disrespect gets just old real quick and fast. So just don't tolerate that from nobody in these fucking spaces, because they think it's cool and funny and cute, but it's not.
Yeah, I'm good with all that. Like her, like Future and Gigi, you're butthurt over my last couple streams when I kind of, I didn't really say anything personal. I was just said what I thought. You know what I mean? I said Gigi left when,
You
when
don't
she
like
it looked
that.
like she
No,
just,
some people can't handle that. They can't handle any type of
yeah, they can't.
criticism or disagreement. Look, in these
And
spaces,
it doesn't
I've said
end.
this. Yeah, it's like any type of disagreement, any little disagreement about anything, it causes a whole civil war. Like, remember, there was like the whole Golden Sphere 2.0. Like, I've seen so many like wars going on where it's like you have to pick a side over and over and over again just because you have like a little disagreement or a little criticism towards somebody, and it's just ridiculous. It's like, no, if you're actually like so thin, you can't even handle any criticism or any disagreement like respectfully, because in that message I sent to Multi. You know, it was a private message. I was trying to respectfully like disagree with her, like respectfully, and they couldn't handle it. They're just like, I can't do it. And then next thing you know, I'm getting podcasts made about me, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah, they got something against
Is
you.
it
I
still
don't
up?
know. They call you a pick Misha or whatever. I don't know.
probably, you know, they got that in the trigger every time because they brought it down, and I don't know.
It's like the shame woman. It shames women being around men. It's like to pull them into the
I'm a
system. I guess.
You guys, just for a second, you guys see this comment here? It's funny with Al. He's saying apparently his new name is the Count, according to Gigi. I saw something. I haven't watched the video, but she was trying to troll me and you, Al, because the stream yesterday, basically calling the security guard, and she had a picture of like Count Dracula or something. But I mean, what the fuck? It's kind of funny, but at the same time, this is a drunk woman, Golden Goddess. So come on, guys. This woman is drunk, crying, talking about, I want to make friends on YouTube. I mean, Golden Goddess, just go crawl in a corner somewhere and shut up. You know, it's sad.
Maybe that's why Multi tries to defend her so hard. Like, I think she can defend herself, but yeah, like you're right.
They're
like,
dependent on each other to some degree. They're like
They be
interdependent.
enabling
Yeah.
each other's bullshit. That's all.
The same thing with that is they go into the chat room together. Like if Gigi goes on a panel somewhere, Multi or Irby, you know, is always going to be in the chat, like providing support for Gigi. She never goes anywhere solo. She always has Multi or Irby or Blasian Queen, somebody on standby as support. So she's strategic in that manner, but she's still like foolish because why the hell would you jump on a panel with black women who are hostile towards you and you want to act like everything's okay? I mean, she made a calculation error. Hey, she got a couple hundred subs for it. Kudos to her, but her reputation is tarnished. She cannot recover from this. This is all internet. This is forever. It's sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
Yep. And you know, it's like it's just sad. It's just sad. I just, you know, it's just like Georgia or me and talk. You know, it's just disappointing. I think we could do better. You know, we need to do better. We need better representation. Like we do. We need to make sure we know who's who, and keep it moving, and not let people like that speak for us whatsoever. Right. So that's serious. You know, because that's like showcasing the worst of us.
Exactly, precisely. The issue is with that though, Magic, is because she will continuously try to speak for us and act like she's the voice of us. That's the issue. Even she was talking to D. Durrell. She was trying to tell him, if there's any issues with biracial people, come to me. She's already she's going to black people, trying to tell them, hey, she's a spokesperson for biracial people. That's the issue.
Exactly, and it's embarrassing. Hey, Al.
Hello, folks.
It's just like I said, just sending us back 20 years.
Apparently, my new name is the Count.
Not Count, the Count Dracula from Sesame
That's pretty
Street.
funny.
Yeah, the Count. That's what he's known. The
They
Count.
call me the security guard.
Well, yeah, but I'm the Count. One.
Not even insults.
One stupid person. Two stupid people.
So, you know,
Hey,
I'm
you
a
can-
pick Misha though,
you can do
right?
it.
I'm a pick Misha too. But, you know, I looked at my analytics. 97% of my viewers are like female or women. So I was surprised by that. I was like, I feel like I
Well,
always
according to them, I guess 97% of them are pick Mishas.
right? Damn. That's crazy.
I think a lot of the women over there are just jealous of you, Magic.
Right.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I mean, let's be honest. Like, let's look at the women over there. Like, I mean, there's none of them I would ever in my life talk to. Like, if I was single, like I'm being honest, I would never even look at them.
And that's why they try to take the other woman with them. They try to force the other women in their group that are more attractive. They try to like bully them in their group.
Yeah, and that's why they don't like Magic, because okay, you're attractive, and they're like, okay, why are you over here? Come with us.
Yeah,
and that's what it's about.
Yeah. Give them the power. Give them the benefit.
I ain't even gotta go
it.
around like that. You know, I just want to be around people who got like good personalities that are nice. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be around mean ass people all fucking day, right? Because I just don't like that. I just like just vibing with people. I don't want to be around just mean spirited.
So-
It's just mean spiritedness. I don't like it.
So, okay. First of all, let me just straighten up a couple of things here. First of all, to those people out there, if you're gonna call me something, call me. My name is to count the money from History of the World Part 1.
Money.
If you don't know what that is, go look it up. I'm not the Count, but you can call me Count the Money. I'm fine with that. Secondly, here's what they don't get. And I have to straighten this out. The problem that primarily Old English has is that she was caught going into other spaces, the beef sector and Misunderstood's panel, and getting into scrapes and fights and arguments with women there, monoracial women, not biracial women, not multiracial women, but with monoracial women there. She's off on these panels. So that was the problem. I don't know what she's saying elsewhere in this other sector that she's in, which they call themselves The Sector. Very original name. And I don't know what she's told them, because these people can find this out. That's the problem that she has here. The content creators, several of them, said, hey, this is not acceptable behavior. Several people.
I'm surprised
There's a number of people.
No,
I mean, good.
I'm just surprised it took you this long to pick up on a pattern. That's what I was shook about. I was like, oh, he finally sees it.
You were the
It's
main
like-
supporter.
Well, here's what you got to
For a
understand.
long time.
Here's what you got to
Used to be the
understand.
Irby.
Here's what you got to understand.
Yes.
They were moving.
Yeah.
They were moving. You got to keep in mind
replace
that
the Irby.
Gigi and Walty weren't around the spaces that much. They popped up on a panel every so often. They weren't doing lives. They did this podcast, and from what I saw, this is why when Gigi brought these two, I would call them ruffians from that sector to attack me, I knew on the panel, my thought immediately was, this is clickbait, this is attack panel type stuff, this is a new move for her, she's going into something different. Because what I saw, based on what little I knew, was she wasn't doing lives, she was doing her podcast with Multi, and they were moving in a different direction. So at first, when she brought those characters from this sector to attack me, that I just was going, my reaction was, okay, you tried to attack me, you tried to do a Tanya Harding on me, didn't work. So we're not going to have anything to do with each other. That was the way I was going to leave it. But she went on a panel. She went on a panel. Excuse me. She went on a panel. She went on a panel in that space, that sector, and talked about me and said some stuff about me. When she did that, that is when I went on my channel and I proceeded to lay out what the facts were. And I said, you're fired. Had she not done that, I would have just left her alone, because I just saw it as she's moving in a different direction. She's moving away from the space. And pretty much I was right. But the problem for her was she got caught red-handed in other spaces, attacking and arguing with people. That was her problem. Not really the panel, although it didn't help her. The problem was she got caught by other people in the space, going into other spaces and doing it. That's what the issue was. She can fight it all she wants. She can try to spin it all she wants. That's the truth. She can't hide from it. And the people in that sector are going to find it out.
With Nyla, she's done it before.
Well, I'm saying before that, like she's done this a lot. I'm just saying before that, even when I first got in this space, she was beefing with like Exoticals United, and like it was just a mess. And before that, but I was saying like, but people were trying to
Well,
speak out about
everyone
it.
knew they were. Everyone knows they were messy. Like Magic, everyone knows that they were messy. I called them Thelma and
That's
Louise.
abnormally. That's
They
abnormal.
didn't get it.
No, but they
Let me
were.
tell you something.
Look,
They didn't get it when I called them Thelma and Louise. They saw it as a pure compliment. It wasn't an insult, but they weren't getting it. I said, yeah, you're Thelma and Louise because you're outlaws. If you've seen the movie, what happens at the end of the movie?
You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. But I'm saying, look, even before that, remember, but they tried to push this narrative. It's like, oh, they just hate women. Like, oh, if you try to, because they try to say I hate women, like, because I disagree with them. They try to say that about me, like I hate women. Like I'm a woman myself, and I'm a pygmisha, and I must hate women. Like if you disagree with them, you hate women all of a sudden. So that was their narrative. I feel like you ate that up though, Al. You were like, yeah, I love the ladies.
yeah, he does.
That was like,
here's what you gotta understand. Here's what you gotta understand. I came into this sector basically full time last year. So whatever their issues and their problems were prior to 2022, and even a little bit of 2021, I'm not aware of. I knew what they were like, but I've seen people that have fought and argued and gone after each other in another space. That meant nothing to me.
Like it's normal, like it's like normal.
You were seeing it from the in group.
I've seen worse than them. I mean, I know this is hard to say, hard to understand. I have seen worse than them. I have seen worse than them. So I looked at their tactics and I thought they're amateurs.
That it's been like this ever.
Right.
I've never been in a space that has just been nonstop. And I've never, ever.
See, this is mild compared to what I've seen elsewhere. This is mild.
Because my background, I'm like, I was like in spiritual spaces, and like we're all trying to be spiritual and one, and all about oneness and all love, and that's kind of what I was used to, because I was used to like spiritual.
Well, those
spaces,
are even worse, probably. Those are probably even worse.
They had drama. They had drama. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. They had drama. Like I used to run a Discord like that. Like it was like yeah, there was drama. I had to kick people out. People would argue. People didn't like each other. Of course, we're human beings, right? But it wasn't really that. It wasn't like a YouTube space.
Here's what I think. Here's what I think you're saying. You haven't probably come across female content creators quite like Gigi and Multi. Am I right?
No, I've never seen nothing like this before, ever in my life, where it's like,
But you haven't seen the content creators quite like Gigi and Multi.
Well, I was in I've been in black spaces, like black women's spaces and stuff like that. And yeah, they would fight. I remember that they would fight. But I don't think it was like, I don't know if it was like nonstop. Like this is my content. It's just like I just want to pick fights with everybody. So that's my content. That's like my gig. That's like my thing. My steez, like my content. And that's I've never seen that before. I know people fight, like they got disagreements or they got fallouts, but I don't know.
Right. So what happened with Gigi and Multi is this. Once Gigi went to 1,000 subs, she then started moving in the direction she wanted to go. So part of this was clearly, from what I see, planned on her part. That's why when I was at her panel and they allowed these two to attack me, I said, she's moving in another direction. I mean, it was clear as a bell to me. It was crystal clear.
Well, she should have kept it buck from the beginning, from the get-go, and not dragged biracial people into this who actually want to have a community.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, you drag biracial people into this that are trying to look for a sense of community.
Here's a bigger question.
Just keep it real about what you are, so we know what we're getting. That's all I'm saying.
Right. But here's the bigger question. Why did they come to biracial spaces in the first place? Because it's very clear.
But I don't know.
No, outside of that, if you look at both Gigi and Multi, and you look at the way their channel was, and I observed this myself. See, I'm not here to question people's channels and panels. I'm not here to say you can't have this person and you've got to run it this way. I didn't care. But here's the point that I'm making. The point I'm making is, if you look at the way that they ran their channels, it was clear that they wanted to go in the clickbaity direction, but they weren't fully able to. Like I said, this isn't This wasn't improvised. This wasn't spontaneous. Gigi was planning to move in this direction, probably once she got 1,000 subs. That's why she allowed those two characters, people from the sector, to come and try to attack me. I've been on her panel a number of times. Nothing like that had ever happened. Even to other people on the channel, I had never seen that happen. Where they brought people from another space, monoracial people, to attack biracial people and multiracial people? No, I had never seen that. They did that because it was clear they're moving in that direction. That's why when I was on the panel, I went, oh, I see, you're going clickbait. And that was evident to me even before. I felt they're going to leave this space. They're going to move on to other things. And guess what happened after that panel and after she got found out of being in other spaces? Golden Goddess TV. I see a post covering this channel, covering this, the Umar Johnson sector or the sector, covering biracials, covering something they call the white lady sector. I have no idea what that is.
White lady sector.
Is that one woman?
I have no idea what that is. This was planned. What I'm telling you is she was planning to move. So some of this is planned. What
No,
the
but
other
she's doing,
stuff, I
she's
don't know.
just broadening. She's still trying to keep this under it, like we're one component in it. That's what she's trying to do.
Notice she was very fast to say, I'm not in the biracial spaces anymore. Why? Because she's trying to spin her way out of it.
But she changed it on that because she's still here. She didn't claim this after. That was just before she went on her drunken thing. Then she claimed it when we were out there. When she was out there, she then was claiming that she was from here. Again, but I know what you're saying. She said that right before. She's just flip flops. She just makes up whatever and does whatever she wants to get whatever.
After she got found out that she was in the beef sector and I can't remember, misunderstood sector, she said, oh, I'm no longer in the biracial sector. When people started coming out.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But then not that long after she got drunk, I don't know if she lied. She said her kid was sick. I don't even know if that was true. And somehow she was up drinking all night, and it was in the morning. Yeah, and my friend was gonna say.
Well, she has a channel, and on her channel, she's made it clear she's covering all these different spaces.
Oh yeah. When she went there, when she went there, that's when she started reclaiming it again. From the biracial space, she reclaimed it all of a sudden. She was now the queen of it. By the way, to them, she said that to those people, to that sector, that she was the queen of it.
On the one hand, she says one thing. On the other hand, she says
exactly. I'm saying.
Well, guys, just a second, guys. Just 1 second. What's the name of the channel? You said it's the Golden Goddess TV. Is that
something
what the channel?
Like that. That's the post I saw. That's what I saw.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know because like I said, I don't care what she does, but that's what I saw. It was very clear. That's why I said,
right.
This is planned stuff. That's why when she did that panel, I was like, wow,
yeah, I always knew she was a bit grifty. I always knew that though in the past.
See, the weird part about her is this: she tried to build her platform in a biracial space.
Yes, but there's a point where she made it clear that she wasn't, and you guys stayed there, and I didn't.
And what was weird to me was that, from my perspective, I'm looking at this simply as a content creator or a former content creator. I look at it and I go, if your intent was to kind of go into the clickbaity, attack, gossip type of thing, why don't you go to the clickbaity, gossipy type of channels and spaces and build your platform there? You'll get more people. You will get more content creators. These spaces, biracial spaces, are limited.
Why are you trying to
there are
ruin
only
our
so many
spaces?
content creators. See,
You're trying to ruin us before we start.
Right.
I do give credit, Gigi. I did find these spaces because of Gigi. But you know what's funny? I thought her video, like the way it was like formatted, it was like light skins or I thought it was like a biracial bashing because that's all I seen, right? So I thought it was an anti-biracial channel, and then I clicked on it and it was like, oh hey, this is for biracials. I was like, oh shit, I've never seen that before. So, but I was so used to it. So it's funny that.
Right, but see, that's probably what her game was, right? Pretend she goes to a biracial space and pretend she's for biracial, and then she really doesn't want to be entirely biracial because there's nothing in it for her. nor multi. But my point was this. They didn't need to build credibility by being in a biracial space. It wasn't necessary for their channels. Just go into the clickbaity attack, gossip, tea, whatever they call it, those spaces, and build your channel. See, they didn't think it through. I covered this when I've had series on YouTube. You have to know who you are. That's one thing. Because I recently did something called Who Are You? And I said, you have to know who you are, and you have to know what your channels are about. If you know what you want to do and your channels are about, why are you going in the wrong spaces? And people do make these mistakes. These individuals went into the wrong spaces to build their channels.
Yep, I agree. 100%.
That's why we have
They
an
were
issue.
even
That's why it's a problem.
way more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a failed marketing strategy. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't like I come to biracial. Yeah, we don't really want that. Usually, we just want a community. We don't really want all the drama. We don't. It's not the audience. We're not the right audience for it. That's not what we really. There's some people want it. Of course, there's going to be some people who are with the bull, but most of the people who I talk to are not. Don't really want that. Like 90% of the people. But there's viewers in it. But I don't think they're biracial people. You think all those viewers, like you said, it's not a. So if you went to like that and did like the drama and like they would have had like 10,000 subscribers by now if they would have.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, they would have. So yeah, if they had it just been real about what they are, go like this is what I'm for. It's not, you know,
It's strange to me.
She always wanted a T channel, but she would always kind of switch and kind of sneak it in and then kind of like act like it's not. That's what my brother.
That's what I'm saying.
So light skin blacks at the same time. Then for everybody, and then it's like.
If you look at GG and Multi, they don't know what they're doing. It's evident by the way they conduct their channels. I'm not saying that they're totally clueless about YouTube, but they don't know. Magic put her finger on the pulse.
That is their product.
Not only
that
is
is their product.
marketing
No, I think
strategy,
you're thinking that they have a different product, but that is their product.
10 o'clock
Just getting like big
audience
mouths.
want that, but we're not the right audience. I'm saying they're trying to market their product to the wrong audience.
They're trying to use our struggles to kind of, and then like a dirty dirty luggage, try to like.
But
there's a whole different audience.
Here's my theory. I don't know. I'm just making a deduction based on what I've observed. The problem that I see with GG and probably Multi is the reason why they had a failed marketing strategy and couldn't market their channel and couldn't build their channel in the appropriate spaces was they go to all these other spaces and piss off, alienate, antagonize, and by vilifying people. And that kicks them out of spaces probably and channels.
I think so. It did help
them
grow, though. I think
probably why they were unable to do that. They came to this space and they thought, okay, we're biracial. We can fit in here. And that's why I think they did it. Because otherwise, there's no reason for them to be here if they don't want to be here. And I don't think they wanted to be here. They were here because they had nowhere to go. Or they had very few places to go because of their attitude and demeanor. I mean, even here in the spaces, they were pissing people off. Even when I came in here, they were targets. All I heard was GG and Multi. And I told them this.
I get it.
I told them this. I try to say to them, look, in essence, I try to say to them, look, I understand there are people who don't like you. I understand your behavior and the way you guys are very feisty and combative. I don't mind that. But you have to understand, you're not going to win by being feisty and combative and fighting all the time. There's a time to fight and there's a time not to fight.
You attract more bees with honey, vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. You attract more with honey than vinegar, you know. So I do think it's just about having the appropriate responses to things sometimes, because I feel like they drag things out because it's like, oh, this is content, you know. So that's the issue. It's like if you want to, because I talked about it with somebody else. It's like, you know, putting all our business out there on Front Street is like, that's why I like Discord, because we can handle things like privately. If you have an issue, if you're really serious about like squashing an issue or something with somebody, then like you can go to Discord and hop in the DM.
Not everybody has to this way.
I don't even want to know what they're like on Discord. I don't even want to know
No.
what they're
He's
doing.
scared. He thinks it's worse. But not even. It's not even. It's funny because in
It's
some
good.
places it
It's
is worse,
good
but
to
it's
have
actually
that
not bad there.
communication. I'm
What he
saying
means
because
is because
people
there
have
are
to
no
do it on
rules. Like
audience.
you could just say whatever. Really, you can say there's no because
For
there's
some
nobody saying.
people,
But
yeah,
we
for
don't do
No,
some
no.
that. We
What
people,
don't
I'm
end up doing
saying.
it.
So
audience,
what
you
I'm
know.
saying is, if
We just
people
end up
think
doing.
they're
We just
bad
end
on
up not doing
YouTube,
it.
they're
Yeah, but it's
probably
just
10
us. It's
times.
not really. It's just us. I mean, us like
If they are bad on YouTube, they're probably 10 times worse on Discord. That's what I'm thinking. But I don't know.
No,
It's
when some
actually
people
more the
have an
creators
audience, they want
actually
to show up
too.
for an audience and make it entertaining. That's what makes it bad. You know, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like some people want to make it funny and entertaining, and they want to sit here and fight for an audience, and they would just want to, you know. But if they're like talking one on one and there's no audience, they're different. You know, it's going to be a different vibe because you don't have an audience to sit there and entertain, and you know. So that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I never been on Discord, but that's my theory now. When I see everything that's come down and everything that's happened, that's the best theory I can come up with. Is I think they were in these spaces primarily because they probably didn't fit anywhere else, or they couldn't build anywhere else or build their platforms anywhere else because they were too busy fighting with people. I mean, it's very clear to me.
I think Golden Goddess already had like a T channel, and then she's seen this and just kind of tried it. Like she was already trying to do a T channel, and then she's seen this and tried to, I guess, blend it.
I really liked a lot of her. It was just the live streams that like went left, like her like videos and stuff. I really liked it. Like when she would make
Yeah,
like,
but
little videos.
I have to admit there were some funny like nights. There were some funny, like there were some nights where it was a bit crazy.
I did enjoy a lot of her content, but it's just like when the live streams and the fighting and the
But
that's
I have enjoyed some of those like real crazy ones. Maybe I'm guilty for like not normally. It's not what I want to do, but I have had times where I didn't like. But a couple of them, but yeah, it never got better.
Again, that really just
I'd be
points to
attacked
me
for criticizing.
what it points to me is, and I stress this in regards to YouTube, it's if you're going to be on YouTube, you got to have some kind of roadmap. You got to know what you want and how to attain it. And you can't build one kind of channel in another kind of space. And if she had a T channel, if she had that before she came to the space, well, I'm thinking, why would you want to come to this space when you've got that kind of channel? You need to go to those spaces and build your channel there. You're going to get more subscribers, more views, far more people going to look at your channel there. It's like, and I know gossip and celebrity gossip and stuff like that's big on YouTube. I know that's big. So why would you want to come to a biracial space or biracial spaces, which are small anyway? And the people there are, they don't care about that stuff.
I agree. So you're 10 years you've been in like biracial, mulatto, spaces, right? Do you feel like there's any sense of like leadership, like anybody trying to be like a leader or trying to like, really like charge forward? Or, I don't know, because I talked about that a long time ago. It's like, I do think that, she had like a little bit of power and then like it got corrupted and it kind of drove the space into the ground, right? Because it's like,
well, I think
somebody a bigger platform, somebody building a platform to have like a bigger platform, and then they like actually want to use their platform to help biracial people specifically. Like that's kind of like a leadership role, right? So it's like, have you seen
because the spin that you hear from Gigi, I don't know if this is true. Again, I came into the spaces last year. I was there primarily last year and a little on some channels 2021. So I don't really know the history prior to it, other than I'm aware of the Golden Sphere. And the person who came up with that was this Caesar Cannon guy, wasn't he? Wasn't he the guy that was behind
who started
coined the
the
term,
Golden
at least
Sphere,
made it
right?
popular. At least made it popular.
Yeah.
The term, yeah. I was there since then.
Right. So
I'm the veteran here out of us four, like when it comes to the sphere.
The impression, I know they've claimed, I heard them at least once or twice claim that they created or they were behind the Golden Sphere, something along that line. And they made the space or biracial space work, or they were behind it, or they were the ones. So when you talk about leadership, I think the impression I get is that they kind of considered themselves, I don't know about leaders, but maybe the major influencers, to put it that way.
Right, influencers, exactly, because they're like,
Right.
yeah. So it's like,
In terms of leaders, go ahead. Sorry.
No, do you think that was like the only form of like, influencer? Like I just never seen somebody like trying to build a platform and influence and actually trying to like, really be a voice for biracial people. That was my first time seeing that was with the Gigi, and look how that went. Like it went all the way left. Like, so it's like,
because they're problematic.
No,
I have to be brutally honest. I don't know I don't know anything about their private lives or personal lives, and I never cared to know.
They just got louder than everybody else because of the fact it was more entertaining because of the fact that it wasn't serious.
Right. Based on the way they behave, they don't seem like they never were serious people, and I never really.
They claim themselves queens.
So what?
And then they claim themselves the queens of the space.
They can call themselves whatever they want. I mean, I can call myself imperious leader of the biracial spaces. So what? Doesn't mean anything. Okay, that's my new title now. I'm imperious leader of the biracial spaces.
So if we do have like somebody, that
really try to cut that. Don't try to clip that and use that. But it's a joke, okay? It's a joke, folks. I'm making a point. Calling yourself royal titles doesn't mean you're a leader. They may be influencers, but they're not leaders. There are no leaders in this space. I've said this before. There are no leaders in this space.
She's a goddess. She's a goddess.
Really? Yeah. More like Kali, Shiva, maybe.
But what's learned from the situation? We gotta take the lessons out of this situation, right? Because power corrupts people. We know that. If we would have somebody like, it makes me think about who do I want representing for me? Like if somebody did have a more powerful voice or a bigger platform, like what type of person would I want representing for me? Somebody who's like really serious, actually really do care. It doesn't care about like clicks and views and clout, because those people will abandon everything for some more clicks and views and clout, right? So it's like we do want people who are serious, committed, who actually like are really really put their heart into this cause and actually care about us. Actually, you know what I'm saying? I'm not just trying to use this space for clout, and people who are actually, really trying to be about empowering us, and really, those are the people we want to promote and give attention to, and make sure that we're.
Well, I think the good first move was taken in making sure that Gigi and Multi got ejected and evicted from the biracial spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was making another group.
And they're in that sector, and they're going to find out that sector has a good degree of anti-biracial content creators and rhetoric. And Gigi's already had two live streams done about her that have been critical in that space. I'm aware of that. So, and if they find out about that other stuff, it's not going to be good. Trust me, I'm aware of that space. And those people over there are mostly it's monoracial. Those people attack each other with ferocity. They go after each other. You think this is bad? That's 100 times worse over there. There are people that dox each other. They've doxed each other.
They're drawn to the spaces.
They have called cops on each other and other kind of law enforcement, called managers, called supervisors. They have gone out of their way to reveal people's private lives. And expose stuff. And these people still want to deal with each other over there. And that's why to me, it's weird. I don't know if other spaces are if there are any other spaces like that. I don't know. But to me, it's weird. You can't stand each other. You don't like each other, but you're going to hang out with each other. I can't.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
What's the purpose of that space? I don't get it.
And I got sick of it. That's why I kind of want to have another group.
That's a good question.
I'm
I
not
don't
trying
get
to
it.
be. I'm not trying to
It
be
wasn't
involved.
supposed to be. It just fell apart into that kind of culture. It was supposed to be the Umar Johnson sector, but it just kind of
Right.
turned
Well,
into
what
it's just
happened was, well, here's what
the
happened.
kind of people just ended up
Yeah,
I
not
think
think
being
that's a
able
good
to
point.
hold that
one
properly
one
and just
second, Al.
started fighting each other
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
making and that became the whole.
Yeah, for sure. 1 second, guys. Just wanted to say we can have our last, thoughts for the stream. It's almost 3 hours. I'm gonna close it out. I
Mhm.
gotta work in a few hours, so I want to at least get some rest. But it's been a
Mhm.
pleasure to have you guys up on here. So if you guys have any last words, we can kind of close this out and finish things off.
I'll say that, we got to know that we're powerful people. We got a lot of advantages in life and that we are very smart, very beautiful, very athletic, very talented. There's so many amazing things about us. And I really want us to showcase that more and develop our talents, develop our education and smarts and our brains and just be the best we can be and just know we're amazing. And there's so much great things about us. And we want to, showcase that more and show the world who we are and be able to really, fulfill our potential as mulatto people. Okay, we got a lot of potential that we need to fulfill, so let's focus on that. And I love you guys. It's all love. Have a good night, guys.
Peace. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Talk to you next time. All right,
Oh,
gentlemen. Yep.
yeah, I don't really have much to say. I guess I had a good time. It's nice to do this somewhere else, not on the air panels. Uh, it was a good time. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me up. Pretty tired. Good night, guys.
Cool. Catch you next time. All right, Al.
Well,
Al
I think the
show.
last thing, yeah, I think the last thing I would say is a couple of things. One, for what I see, there's no leader in this space. And for
Right.
what I see, what do we need a leader for? Right? We had two people who thought they were maybe trying to be leaders,
They
and look
thought.
how that turned out.
Yeah.
And it
They
wasn't
thought they were
successful.
leaders. Yeah.
Right. And so part of what the rhetoric was to act as if by my agreeing with the people in the space about them, that somehow I thought I was a leader. I'm not a leader.
Mhm.
Right. So, and the second thing is, I think the what's happened is that we've seen the true colors of these two people. And I think, Magic put it, I think, succinctly. I think it was a failed marketing strategy on their part, partly, but also I think it was, according to my theory, the fact that I think because of their personality and the way they behave and the way they treat people and the way they always want to argue and fight, they probably weren't welcome in a number of spaces and probably the places they wanted to be, and came here because they felt they're biracial and they could build platforms here, even though it wasn't what they wanted to be. So that's my theory about it. And in getting rid of them, I've said this, it's a good first step to, I think, beginning the process of, I hate that term, healing, but of smoothing over the rough patches and the edges and sanding things down and moving on in the space and moving on to do productive, constructive, and even more productive and constructive content, which has occurred in this space. There are good discussions, good conversations. There's been good content here. So that's what and just need more of that. All right. Thanks for having me.
Right on, man. Appreciate you and enjoy your evening.
You too.
Cool. All right, beautiful people. It's been a while, almost 3 hours, almost at the 3 hour mark. This is a pretty long stream. It's been very eventful, but I got to get up. I got to get some rest, get up in a few hours. I got to go to work. Got a long day of work tomorrow. It's going to be good getting that money, but it's been a pleasure here to speak with you guys and share the article. And I'm going to update this stream and post all the links, etc. Tomorrow. So just stand by. I'll have the stream up, but I'll put in all the information for you guys over the next several hours. But until then, enjoy this music, and you guys will be hearing from me pretty soon. Tune in Mulatto Monday. Mulatto Monday, you're going to hear from me. But until then, you'll see some shorts. I'm working on some short form videos as well. I'm still going to get into the history component. Obviously, that's kind of the main focus of the channel, the history, but I've had a lot of things going on right now. So I'm just trying to kind of gather my notes and organize time to put into the video editing and stuff like that. So for sure, guys, beautiful people, it's been a pleasure, and I'll talk to you next time. So peace.